Welcome, one and all to Swim or Sink 215. I am your lovely host tonight, Jolteon Jack, joined by my new friend, Sam Soov, and we are getting ready right into it with our first round of Starlit versus Los Inklings. How are you doing today, Sam?
It is a beautiful evening to get back into one of the incredible long-running events here at IPL. Don't let that first score scare you. We're jumping in part way here, and it looks like we did have a first game victory going the way of Starlit. And we were kind of talking about this here, Jack. Like, these are two teams that have been around. We've seen a lot of, like, if you don't know Kraken Mare, I feel like I'm a tourist here, and even I know Kraken Mare. So these are teams that you should recognize and should be paying attention to. But let's jump into that, because game two is going right into Mahi Mahi Resort with zones. And I don't know, man. I was always big on this, but I know the community is coming around to it.
I mean, yeah, no, it's been a staple since the first game. A little skip with Splatoon 2, but it's back in full force. It's a mode you see quite often, especially here at SOS. It's definitely a Splatoon map that I think is going to be affected a lot by the most recent patch, because this was a very easily Reef Slider cheesable map. But with that nerf to Reef, I don't know how many Dreadringers we're going to see this game. Much less than I think I would typically see. I would typically bet we would see one on each team. Now I wonder if we'll see one at all. Something that I am hoping, and I say this every time I'm live, folks, but now I have even more incentive to, because Nintendo has finally broken the shackles of me and my brethren, and the Dynamos will come forth, and this is a good Dynamo map.
Yeah, I was gonna say the patch that we got with the great announcements of the updated UI and the little win more mechanic with the power. These are very interesting. The changes that came around with those really do kind of shift us away, like you said, stuff like the Dynamo that has the ability to kind of control those high grounds and kind of play at a distance and also just get big, easy one-shots. There's a lot of buff now for things like that, particularly with pressuring the zone. So I'm kind of with you. I want to see what changed, and I also want to see how teams are relying, if they're still relying on cooler, because with so much pick potential now that's kind of out there with all these changes, do we still feel as a community it's very necessary to have a cooler and loot versus don't have it in loot? So I'm very curious to see what this swim or sink brings us.
That is very true, but I do. It turns out the game is live commentary, and in fact, we are not at Splatzone's Mahi Mahi right now, folks. We are in the middle of a Rainmaker game on Manta Maria, and as we see right now, it's already been a bit action-packed right now. No checkpoints have been broken, but a minute and a half has gone by, and there's been some points, and they might get a thing right here. Starlit getting close. To you, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, that was fairly good. It's in the hold position, kind of a tough spot here in this choke point. Flood manages to get one. The bubble pop and cooler down on the side of Los Inklings tells me that they'll get it back. They get control, and they're just going to run it down. I think they will take this side angle. It's much easy pressure, but it'll be well guarded here, so this will be an easy slam.
Yeah, no, especially with Starlit in the blue here respawning. It was a very free checkpoint, and getting it on this right side will make it much easier to run immediately towards the checkpoint right here. This is just free points, all the way down to 23 before they get a pop. 2 down on either side. We are seeing a whale come out right here. Low Slug going down right there to Fled, who's looking to get a double kill. Unfortunately, barely misses that second one, but does drive the remaining members of Los Inklings out. But with that big of a lead, they are going to need that Rainmaker to reset and hope somebody doesn't try to shark on by. We do see Fled here just holding down on the left side, not letting that Wiper player in. Very smart, and the Rainmaker does reset right here. They are going to need to get some paint in mid in order to make this comeback happen.
Yeah, they didn't quite get the control I think that they were looking for on the side of Starlit. They'll open up with this crab to try to buy a little bit more space and get control. They're sending every special in there, so this will be a stop. But it means that Starlit kind of doesn't have a lot going into this next fight. Kraken's going to go up and kind of play the anchor for the time being. So Starlit has to move fast on this if they want to try to get any sort of advantage they gained from the specials.
And right now, just poking as we pick up Rainmaker right here. The Rapid Blaster doing what it does best. That is a cooler weapon right now. There is still a cooler weapon on each side we see here. Unfortunately, Rainmaker goes down, but it does get a trade right now. I meant to bring it up earlier, but even though with the new Flow Aura buff, we are probably going to see decreased cooler usage. I don't think it will be as much as people may originally think, because Cooler does still have some distinct advantages that Aura does not. What we do see right there, Starlet does manage to break through the checkpoint right now. 2 down on the side of Los Inklings, 1 down on the side of Starlet. They need to do something in order to get the lead back in their favor.
I mean, the Los don't really need to do much but push here. They just need to keep hold of the space. You can see how they're trying to kind of push aside and play for a pick. They're just kind of holding it back. Teresa there in particular on the Splatling, just kind of letting that sign go. Unfortunately, they don't get the grab, so back to center. 1 minute with 2 down means that Starlet actually kind of have a chance to keep this going. Great pick from True. There's that little bit of burst of ink around them, try to get them cracking on the way out, but Starlet kind of need to get a push. They need to take up a little bit more space if they're going to get anything done. They can see the health bar there, but they need to push now.
Yeah, True doing wonderful job right there just to try to get at as many people right there. 23-23, they do manage to get lead. Huge. Are they going to get the slam? They do, and just like that, Starlet has taken the game right there. I believe that will put them at 2-0, winning them the set over Los Inklings. Because we did, unfortunately, miss the first game right there, so this is the set 1.
Yes, that is Starlet with a 2-0. So they have set, I believe, we're not play all 3 yet, right? Are we play all 3? We play all 3 in groups, I thought. No, it's best of. We are best of. Okay, sorry. Events change, things are a little bit different. Thank you. Thank you, talking voice in my ear. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I guess a very solid 2-0 from Starlet. That was kind of what I wanted to see out of that position, right? You have the last minute. You know you're going to have the last control of the Rainmaker at that point. So a very slow approach and just great recognizing we have paint down. We can kind of push through it and just go. When we once we feel like we have enough control, once we have enough space to do it. And Los Inklings, they respected a little too much. They didn't kind of push in. They didn't try to deny any of that space. They just recognized we don't have the ink down, so we have to try to defend this where we can. And unfortunately, just got caught out in that push.
When you have that much paint on the ground, it's definitely hard to get out, and hesitation is the biggest killer of momentum in these games. And Los Inklings were just not able to find a good moment to properly push out. Even after that reset on Starlet's first major push after getting when they got checkpoint, they weren't able to get the Rainmaker out to push out along with the Rainmaker. And when they did, they were swiftly knocked down 2 players and immediately just sent back to where they were. I did very much love to see the angles that both teams took. Starlet in particular. I had seen that Rapid Blaster get up top right on those angles and just keep peppering the Los Inklings, just not allowing them to take any side angles to try to get behind the Rainmaker, really allowed them to just keep getting as many points as possible.
Yeah, it's very easy to kind of just lose yourself to the kind of tunnel vision of just where is the main lane that they're trying to run through and where are they trying to get control of, and then just kind of forget everything else. And that's what you'll see once you get into the higher divisions of this game, is you'll see that there's always someone watching those kinds of side flank angles. There's always someone kind of pressure from a different angle. But, everybody learns, everybody plays differently, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. But unfortunately for Los Inklings, they'll go into their game 2 with a loss, and Starlet will move on with a solid victory here in Group A. That
they will. I wanted to return to a discussion we were having earlier.
Yes,
I brought it up again a little bit in the thing, but the how Cooler is going to be affected now in this new meta that's probably going to be defined by this update. I did mention it earlier, but I do think we will see Cooler in prominence. I think some teams will choose to go Coolerless now that the Flow Aura buff is here, but it doesn't give you the quick respawn time that Cooler does. It doesn't give you the fast super jump. It is just merely movement and action intensify, which is incredibly useful. I know I have been going from very, very slow with Dynamo to very quick after getting a couple kills is very helpful. It very much so, especially since it seems to last after death if you are able to get a kill or an assist. I wonder if that's maybe a bug, but right now it's a feature.
That is interesting. I'm inclined to agree with you, Jack. I feel like with how important Cooler has been, nothing we saw necessarily changes that. But going into Paula, Deen, Saviour here and USF Gold, we'll have to see if those teams agree with us. I do know for a fact that USF Gold is a very, very strong team. And starting off over on Splat Zones, everybody's kind of preferred mode. It's going to be very interesting to see because USF Gold, you know, those collegiate teams, those guys scrim. Those squads like play. They are so invested. So I'm always loving to see how these collegiate teams stack up against kind of these pickup groups or the groups that maybe are still trying to like find the exact perfect 3 or 4 players that they're trying to go with. So this will be a great test for both because USF Gold, that collegiate season over at our friends in CCA is starting up soon. So this will be a great opener to kind of get an idea of them.
As a CCA participant, I can very much agree to that, as well as the power of the teams over at USF. I don't know if I personally have played USF Gold, but I have definitely played a few other of their teams, and they are a wonderful group to compete against. So I'm definitely thinking they're going to give Paula, Deen, Saviour here a run for their money on ship-shaped cargo coast splat zones. This is a very interesting splat zones map. The two big... God, I can't even think of the names right now. My brain's not working tonight, folks. The two big towers on either side are very great platforms to fling ink down. Less so on the zone. It is good to do so from up there, but how the angle works, it makes it very hard to just directly shoot down onto the zone. You have, however, you do have a very clear angle to the other team's platform, which you can either jump across or just continue flinging ink towards their base.
Yeah, you're right. Like I think you've nailed it. Is that the high zone is like those high grounds are very important. It'll a heavy edit coming out from the side of I believe that is our USF Gold squad pop. But we do see a heavy edit coming out of one and pencil still coming out. This is very interesting because the heavy edit I would have expected out of a much longer map. You can still get plenty of pressure out with pencil without having to put yourself in a lot of like danger. And yes, I do coming up big with that first opening pick, a trade out as the zone is kind of still in that mid. An early crab from the high ground. This might actually just kind of seal this right here.
Yeah, shredded right through that Booyah Bomb. Even though it did go off, it did not get a proper angle to neutralize zone right there. Minty able to secure another kill before going down to the edit. Fizzle right here, trying to take back some space. There are 2 specials on the side of Paula, Deen, Saviour right here, which I assume they're going to use one right now. Unfortunately, their splatter shot goes down. Zuka from the side does manage to take one off right now. They do need to paint zone, but with 2 down on their side, they might be forced right back even with that cooler.
I mean, that cooler is big, but Fizzle can't necessarily do much aside some pressure the zone, and that's kind of your best case as well as keep yourself back. But with the reinforcements in, immediately losing your sword is not great. This is kind of worst case scenario here. Hammer! It's hammer time.
Hammer time. You know, you would think with some of the nerfs to some hammer weapons so you couldn't spam it as quickly, you wouldn't see it right away. But nope, that Splatana was quick to utilize it. And with that, one more member of Paula, Deen, Saviour's down. They got no people in zone, and there are only 20 points left for USF Gold in their color. I feel like this will give them a stat boost right here. Zuka coming out. That is 2 down on the side of USF Gold. Make that 3. They need to paint right now. Are they able to flip the zone? They are able to do so. They are not going quietly into the night right here. And with that, they have flipped zone and given USF Gold a massive penalty and pushed them all the way back to their base.
Paula Deen here is doing exactly what I was hoping USF would do, is just push up and deny the space. You need to be playing in front of the zone here, and that is so crucial because it just forces the other team to spend specials like that crab and the hammer just so much earlier so they can't even contest it. It gets the zone back to neutral, but there's still plenty of time for USF Gold to kind of recover this and swing it back in their direction.
Yeah, they were able to do it right there. I'm surprised you didn't make mention. That Sploosh just casually walked through zone up onto the enemy platform and popped Stamper, and it just nobody seemed to matter. They did get clipped by the Booyah Bomb. It was just a very funny string of events, people, especially from my point of view. Right now, the zone is just in neutral or night, flipping back and forth. USF Gold does get a few lucky picks right there. Slim from downtown does unfortunately miss, but a lot of splash damage on both members, forcing both of them to jump out, and with a crab that'll allow them to clean up the remaining Paula Deen members and flip the zone back in their favor. They are working down that penalty right now, and Paula Deen are gonna have to be quick if they want to get back in this. That is 1 pick off of the Zuka. Oh, that's ultra stamp double though.
Yeah, as I say, the aggressive frontline Slayer here from the Splatana and the sword there are just so big. Like the sword and wiper combo, this aggressive frontline is just so strong. I mean, penalty's almost done here. There needs to be one last push. No specials up, but they have the numbers here on USF Gold. Booyah Bomb is there, but they have to paint. They got it in a literal last second. Incredible turn.
That was so close. I thought, hey, we've all been there. I thought it was going to be the heartbreak of that zone does flip properly, but it still goes, it ends right there. But no, it does flip. Trying to get the sneak kill right here with the Ultra Stamp does miss the person they're going for, but is able to get a kill on the jump. Slim right here, able to get the double kill and enter flow state right now, looking for more blood. The thirstiest Solutionmatic. The solo 4-5. Wonderful play from Slim. Reaper right here. They are indeed a Reaper with how many heads they are taking tonight, and they want more.
Yo, Slim is just cracked. There's no analysis I can give to that. Slim's absolutely just playing insane right now. Last minute, man, you gotta respect that. That's one from the crab in the back. Minty gives their life for it, but it's costing everything. 2 from the Zuka for Inker, though, just firing out on their last hope, trying to make sure this is 5 seconds left. So there's gotta be. They need to touch. They need to get to zone. No.
Nah, unfortunately, that splatter shot being in base meant so they couldn't just run right past, especially with the pencil on watch, and that will be game 1 going right there to Paula, Deen, Saviour.
Man, it is. I don't know what to say, man. Slim Reaper just popped off at the end there. Like, there was a lot of great things from this team. They played well. They held the space, but I don't know, man. I just love it when I see a good frontline Slayer just pop off and go nuts. Like, that was a 5-piece out of Slim, who absolutely just deserved that. They were able to just take every duel confidently. And I think the other part that led to that success was just, you could tell the callouts were very strong. Slim was able to follow and track when they saw someone was still in range trying to get away. So that tells me that not only is our players like Slim, their frontline, just having a great game, but also the communication is on full steam ahead. And going into game 2 here on Klimbit's Scorched Gorge, I mean, that's a momentum you can carry easily into the next game.
Yeah, this is a very, very heavy momentum map. Splatoon's a very momentum-focused game.
Yeah.
Like, if you just don't have gas, you're not getting anything in Splatoon, where I feel like you maybe are able to get some stuff in other games. But Scorched Gorge is definitely, if you cannot get out of spawn on this map, like if the enemy team has a push initially and you just can't kill them, you're not getting out. Like, your spawn area is so wide, there's so much maneuverability and flanking options for the people who are coming into spawn that it can be very, very hard to push out. But if you do manage to get them out, it can be a very back and forth map. There's a lot of high ground, a lot of verticality to play around with, both in terms of going up on that maybe center stage, which is a very easy poking point for pencils right there. Save that 5 times fast. But also the side areas where clams spawn, that can be a very easy death trap to get people in. There was a bit of a mistake on our part, folks, so apologies for that. The scoreboard should be fixed right now. It is 1-0 for Paula, Deen, Saviour, and let's see if that changes heading here into game 2.
It's going to be tough. Some changes on the weapon side a little bit. I see the Decapitator coming in on the side of USF Gold. Not much changing on the side of Paula, Deen, Saviour. They do go to double Sploosh, Sploosh and Splash. So very interesting. Very, very frontline heavy. That's a 3-1. So that is a very aggressive team. That means they want to play this to kind of just deny space and the ability to set up for USF Gold.
That decav barely avoiding the death from the crab right there. Minty looking for it. Does manage to get with Slim. Already a menace, just moving right through, dodging every little shot that comes their way. That's 2 down on the side of USF Gold. Right now, Paula, Deen, Saviour are just trying to build eco. They do have a super clam ready and waiting. One special on either side. They just need a good moment to get in, but unfortunately, Reaper goes down right there.
Yeah, that was their in. That was the set play they're going to ride off of, was that. And then getting a shot from that Zuko was pretty big from Inker. That was cracked. What a shot there. The Wipeout pick it up. Now, do they have an advantage of it? They do have 20 on the economy, so there should be a chance that they are able to get one in. Yeah, there it is. They'll get a good first push out of this 20 and counting. They'll just tear right down to the halfway point as the specials come in. 53. There's another pick from Tai, and that is huge. 53 is a big opener for the side of ESS Gold. We were talking about the momentum. They've definitely swung it back in their favor.
Yeah, unfortunately, their splatter shot right there got left behind as the rest of the team died and tried to find a way out or just buy some more time, but gets picked off right there. Quick and early. Minty up top, raining down havoc with this crab tank. Just all of them are so weak in the back right there. Burst Bomb doesn't manage to get anyone off, but that's 2 super clams in right there. You are, my friend, and they are getting it down. They do manage to take lead right there. Wonderful just spacing from both Minty and Slim right here, just playing around with the members of USF Gold, not allowing them to get out, but unfortunately that decav hitbox is too wide, so much that I don't even think Reaper can avoid it, and once again it'll pop out. We're already down to 50 on each side, and we're only 2 minutes into the game, Sam.
Yes, it really helps, Jack, that we've had some very big pushes, a Clam plus a ton of others. But the penalty on either side here with the 20 means that it's going to require a similar sized push. And with USF Gold not exactly in control, they do have a Clam, but it's not quite in a great position. And now down numbers means that Paula Saviour is going to get another push in. No stop needed. Slime Leaper gives their life for it, but this is enough to burn the penalty back down. But it's kind of null point here. Like, it's going to get them back down a little bit and just negate it, but they didn't really benefit. It was kind of just a dead push in a lot of ways.
Yeah, unfortunately, that penalty just goes right back up, and their economy is much more in shambles now, much like current economies. But that's an entirely different subject. Tai right here, Flaying does manage to push one of Paladin Saviour into the pit. Unfortunately, gets picked off. It's 2 down on the side of USF Gold right here. Ooh. 3 kills for the pencil right there. Bart glowing yellow, and they have a Super Clam ready to go. They just need to find a good time when. And they force the decaf out right there. This is exactly what they need. Or very, very close combat crab. The bumper crab right here. Maybe just trying to be a bit of distraction. 2 down on either side. What is happening right now? The Wiper is just trying to pick. Both the Wiper and the pencil are just working together.
That's a great pincer maneuver, but it's not enough for Bart. Even with their shooting to get in, they'll get pushed back by this. They spent so much to get into this. There's finally a pick. Bart will get it in. This will actually get them back down. They'll follow up with a few more crabs. With a minute 30, this is probably a closeout point. They're going to push up. Slime Reaper is deep and going in on the hammer. That buys them a lot more time to close this out. This might actually be a closeout here, Jack, if they keep this up.
Nah, it looks like they didn't have enough eco or were fast enough to get Clams back in right here. Most of their team is up front and probably leaving the pencil to get eco right here. But they are, this is what I talked about in the beginning, the pencil is up on the enemy stack and they're just keeping them back. That's 2 down, however, on the side of Paladin Saviour, probably due to some good bombs and that Zuka right here. They do force the remainder of the team out, aside from Slim, who was in back and was able to get a jump in, and despite going down, Minty is here trying to find an angle. That is another wipeout on the side for USF Gold!
That's a delayed wipeout, too. That is so brutal. Paladin Saviour has just kept the pressure up, and even on these respawns, like you said, they control the high ground. Cooler is up now, and Bart is just crushing these shots. Now on the slight flank, they're able to get this up. There is a power climb coming in here with the last 35 seconds, but I don't think there's any real space to do it. It'll close on 19, and Paladin now can just sit back and just kind of play to control the economy. They're not going to go for this, are they? No,
they're trying to right now, but it's... They're trying to right now, but Bard seems to be by themselves. They will be able to save the Super Clam right here. Yeah, this is a 2v2 right now where both the members that are alive are just really spaced out. No, Bart is forced to jump out right there, especially once that Ultra Stamp went down right there to Tai. They do have a Super Clam on deck, but it is going to go into overtime right here. They need to get some picks, USF Gold, I mean, in order to get in. Unfortunately, that Zuka is just a bit of a waste, and they're forced back immediately. No, they hit the barrier! Oh, and one member of Paladin Saviour was able to sneak in over the grates, get the jumps in, and just like that, Paladin Saviour will take it 2-0 over USF Gold.
You know, Jack, sometimes when you go to school, you have to learn the hard lessons. And USF learned a very hard lesson from this, which is you need to watch your secondary lanes. You need to watch your flanks, because you cannot let someone get in like that. That was an easy door close in that situation. And that is a simple, easy jump in for a team like Paladin Saviour. I mean, it's really hard to. I'm coming down hard on USF Gold, but at the same time, Paladin Saviour played phenomenally. That team is just like whatever they're gelling on. That 3-1 aggressive frontline split worked so much in their favor. They were able to play double hammer and just kind of push through and kind of control all the space. There was always a threat unbound, and when everybody's just hitting shots like that, it just feels like the game is not in your favor. So USF Gold, unfortunately, I mean, that's just a tough opponent to come up against, and that is a brutal loss to take. But maybe that's the wake-up call they need as we finish out the end of groups.
Yeah, very much so. End of round 2, right there with 2-0 Paladin Saviour. I thought, I'll be so honest, Sam, when you said got to take him to school, I thought you were referring to the fact that you don't underestimate a weapon like Splatoon, which is very true.
That too. That's very look. No, Splush-O-Matic is 1,000% one of those weapons. That's just like a. That's like a. I think there's a term in like in League and things like that where it's just like a noob stomper. It's like a skill check.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that you see everywhere, and if you just don't stop it, it will run on you. But that is in the past. We'll have to talk about that. Come see my lecture on and my TED talk about that another time because we've got game 3. It's banggg and Peekaboo here coming in. I believe. Jack, take a minute. I'm going to go find some numbers on these guys.
Oh, gosh, you got it. Round 3 right here on Hagglefish Market. This is a very, very... I've referred to it as the final destination of Splatoon 3 right here. And it's not necessarily wrong. It's a very flat map, but with great flanking options for either side. It's just a very, very like back-and-forth map. It is one of the most like balanced maps I feel that is in this game for basically every mode, but Splat Zones and Tower Control are what you typically see on it. We are seeing a look at our larger set right here. I wonder if we will be able to get to Splat Zone's Mahi Mahi Resort, seeing as that we didn't manage to get to it in round 1 when we were promised it so desperately. So it'll just depend on if both teams are able to go back and forth right here. My friend Sam, you still looking for some numbers?
I'm still looking. I'm shocking to say there are a lot of teams here, and of course it was the last game, and of course it was the bottom last game there. It is 2-2 over at banggg, and Peekaboo is coming in also at 2-2. So both teams in the top of their division, neither one having a single loss out of them. So these will be playing. This is pretty important. Going on and getting another clean 2-0 will move you into Great White, the second place team likely to fall. So I mean, this is probably going to be arguably our closest match of the night, just from what we saw out of banggg and Peekaboo.
I would very much suspect.
Finally, game 3, please. Please, game 3.
Yeah, no, I was just mentioning that. Listen, I love this game, but 2-0s. Oh, it moves so quickly. I feel like we don't get to see the story enough of the two teams clashing against each other. But then we see them come together in the finals, and it's beautiful. But I'm not there for that because I had just gotten off mic. But the storyline, I'm there for that. I want the 1v1 going into the last game.
Yeah, show me the big one. I was gonna say, double checking back here. Peekaboo did have game 2. They did drop one to the Stingrays, and if you know anything about this community, the Stingrays are pretty much a fixture here of swim or sink. So there's some still pretty decent teams out here in Group M, but like juggling back to what you say here with Hagglefish Market, Splat Zones is probably one of those ones that I think a lot of these guys scrim also. Remember, the zone is so big, so this is kind of one of those maps now with the map mode combination. We're probably going to see those edits. We're going to see something. You can still run the pencil here if that's your real comfort zone, but like this map is so big and the zone is so wide, we're going to probably see a lot more of those heavy edits. We might even see a little bit more. I don't think we'll see Stamper, but we are going to see probably a lot more of things like the triple strike. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw like double triple strike come out of these teams.
I would not be surprised to see that at all. Looking at the teams right here, Peekaboo, it seems like a very aggressive team. Looking at their team members, one of them, it does seem to be a dedicated backline headed player, if not Explasher, which is also a very wonderful.
That's also a good pick.
That's also a very good pick on this map.
That narrowly avoided getting any sort of buffs. So I'm very curious to see what if maybe like the Explasher is just too good as it is. But that's reasonable. That's a decent. I wouldn't even hate that.
No, but the rest of the team seems very, very hard-focused Slayer, skirmisher vibes with a Splatana, a Dapple Dualies, and a roller player, respectively. I do see that roller player has a Dynamo sticker on their Sendo profile. Please give it to me. I want the carnage.
Give Jack the one thing today, fam. Just let them have it. I mean, this I actually wouldn't hate that. Like, this is so wide that it's great pressure onto the zone without putting yourself in too much distance. So I think actually, Jack, if there's one place we would ever get it, this might actually be it. Unfortunately for us, it does not look like that is the case. It will be a pencil versus the edit. So I'm going to be watching these backliners because I feel like the pencil Inko's going to be constantly putting themselves in more danger, whereas Squinky's going to end up just kind of sitting back and just kind of making sure they're able to watch those back angles.
Yeah, this is the first Dread we've seen so far tonight. Like I said, with that Reef Slider nerf, it very much hurt it. I mean, it was a buff and a nerf because that splash damage was massively increased, which might be a swing here as we see the first one coming out right here. Does he manage to get one? It does. That's a wipeout right there with a swift double kill. Peekaboo taking the early lead right here. That's going to set them back and allow them to get back in. Second Reef Slider already. Apples.
That's Crazy. Maybe a little too aggressive on the push, though. We push to take the space and immediately get punished for it. The jet is good from Tippo is going to be the back point, and we kind of should just probably push out, play for picks, and just clear the space right now. Bang will get control, and they should, again, they're not going to push too far back of this. It's a little too far into the map to kind of really do that, but they will have cooler, so they'll have a distinct advantage coming into this.
Tippo barely avoiding death right there. The stamp throw is able to get one. I am surprised Tippo was able to squeeze underneath that stamp. Here comes another Reef Slider, but unfortunately canceled by that Kraken. That's a wipeout for Bang right there as they retain control of zone, taking the lead, and now putting themselves in a great position. Viva right here just doing their best to survive, getting out, not wanting to push too far in because they have a range advantage right now. Peekaboo needs to come to them. We do have one Reef Slider on deck. Probably going to be a second one any moment now. And that's an Ultra Stamp as well. Yep, and with that cooler out, it's time to go, 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 especially with that zone counter only counting down. Unfortunately, hits the lip!
Oh, that's tragic. That's so unfortunate. The second one is good, and it flips it back for a definitely needed penalty at 17-65 here with 3 minutes left. Bang get back control, though, so, unfortunately, that's just, just kind of the worst of timing. Trades continue out. Hammer gets pulled out as well, so Peekaboo did have to commit very heavily to retain control of this. They threw every special into this, so Bang will have a distinct advantage coming back in here with 3 up.
Yeah, right now Drew just trying to poke ledge right here. Peekaboo are in an area where they just do need to play Peekaboo, as their name suggests. Try to get some quick little poking kills. Tipo doing their best to assist right there, is not picked off by the Dread Ringer. They got both Reef Sliders ready as 2 members are down on Peekaboo right now. I'm expecting to see one, but the Dapples go down right here. Nadea right now trying the Reef Slider right there. Unfortunately, even with that buff to this blast radius, isn't able to get a kill right now in the zone. Once again, flips back into control of Bang. It's 2 down on the side of Peekaboo, and they are taking up some prime positions right here to just pick off and not let them back in.
Yeah, this is the correct call. Stay slightly ahead of zone, deny them the space to build in, you have the choke points to get out. You're going to see one jump back in from Peekaboo, but there's still specials on board. The half gallon there holding onto theirs. One pick means that Bang, again, they're just in a good position. Great pick out on the torpedo as well.
Very good pick. Oh, the hammer throw from downtown. That'll definitely allow a quick little flip and a wipeout as well. This is what Peekaboo needs right here because it's 2 minutes on the clock, and that's a big penalty for Bang right now. Drew just trying to poke as much as they can, get that person off of tent right there. They are just doing their best, but they need to be wary of that pencil right now. Swinky taking a very aggressive headed placement, but the rest of the team behind them, they are picked off. That's not what you need right there. I know Cooler will allow them to get back in very quickly, but still, you want to survive as much as you can. Unfortunately, Nevea once again hits a lip of something, and that Reef Slider isn't able to go super far, and they get picked off by Tipo on the jet right here. Tipo able to get a second one and enter flow state right now. Those points are counting down, though. Bang needs to do something to get back into zone, and the stamp coming out by Stop them.
That's going to have to do it. 7 now with the lead in the way of Peekaboo. Flip right back here. They get back control, and that is going to close it out. Peekaboo sneak from behind, throw everything at the wall, and steal game 1 out from the clutches of Bang. And I'm going to be real honest with you, Jack. I thought we were firmly in Bang's control. Peekaboo genuinely kind of got out in the last minute. That last fight where they had firm control of the zone and were able to kind of hold that front line really just worked out in their favor, even going as far back as trading your two cooler players there. Yes, it was an aggressive play from your Splatling. I don't normally encourage that as much as I am a frontline Splatling player myself, but it was the right actual decision. You already had popped your cooler and you traded. You tried to deny that resource back to them and try to slow up the push. So maybe it was a little bit aggressive and maybe it was a bit of a extreme play, whether it was intentional or not, but it ended up working out in their favor. And considering how many Reef Sliders kind of went rogue for Peekaboo, that feels like the cosmic kind of, we're sorry, you can take game 1.
Yeah, very much. So yeah, Nevea unfortunately getting clipped a few times with that Reef Slider. You very much do see the nerf on that paint though, because there were times that there was a time early on that it would have flipped zone maybe. Yes. Last patch, but no, this time it didn't. But despite that, Peekaboo was very much able to work together to it used their reef sliders more as a way to like fully take control of zone when zone is neutralized. They weren't trying to just cheese it, whereas the second they have reef, they just go straight in and it just immediately neutralizes and you're back in. No, they were very much able to coordinate with their team, paint the zone, and then go in as they had what looked to be a good lead on paint and flip it right there and allow them to get in. We're heading into our second game right here, which is Tower Control and Inkblot Art Academy. I haven't been on this map in a while.
Oh, this one's another frequent favorite for a lot of these teams. No real changes coming in. I see the Rapid Blaster is coming in. I think that might be the only real difference maker here. This looks fairly standard. Yeah, like I don't see anything crazy here. I do think the Junior coming in from the side of Peekaboo is different. We're
there
going to play for Bubble. There it is.
We found it.
Yeah, it took me a minute. Look, I'm still not used to seeing Junior. Bubble is still, I think, very underrated when it comes to things like this, but it is so important. It's like much like these first picks here. So great map control from the side of Peekaboo to take control of these side angles and just kind of push aggressively here. Squinky already taking this aggressive like front line. That's crazy how much space they're buying for free.
Yeah, very much so. They're already at first checkpoint. That's counting down. That's definitely a free checkpoint right here. They got the Ultra Stamp ready after that Reef Slider. They unfortunately get picked off. One down on either side. Their Ultra Stamp player needs to be careful to not get poked by that pencil. Sneaky right here. Just you fall off. You need to fall off right there and not let that pencil pick you off, but they have kept the tower moving. It hasn't lost control. It might be forced to right here as Tipo gets that jet and they do force them back. Bang trying to set it more into mid. With that bubble, it might keep them back in base even longer.
It'll buy the time for everybody to get out for this reset. Still very early in the game here at about 4 minutes. Sesam Galactic will grab that pick, and I mean, meanwhile, the cart continues to move. Squinky just going to go ride that out. This is kind of that break point here, checkpoint 2. You have to get control of this, and now with checkpoint 2 in it, Peekaboo can very much close this out. These jump-ins are still fairly in their way. There's someone pressing the high ground. Peekaboo are going to looking to close this out early.
Yeah, they very much are. This is also a very a map that's very easy to like get pushed back into your base and not be able to get out, as we've seen right here. Viva chasing down person in Kraken is able to get a kill. 2 down on either side, though. You have to play together here. Watch that tower as it's falling back. They're doing a great job of keeping the wiper off of tower right here. They do manage to get the pick. This is some very good like patience right here. The 96 gal knows that they can't fight off an entire army, so they're just waiting for members of Peekaboo to feed into them one by one. They do unfortunately go down, but it buys the rest of their team precious time to get back in here.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of time left because we're at the 3-minute mark. Picks and trades either side, 2 down the side of Bang as the cart continues to move. That's what you use this bubble for. Nedia is just going to go ahead and ride this out. It's going to be a Inkjet coming in to clear a little bit more, but at 18, this is almost as good as a full complete for the side of Peekaboo. They should just be able to kind of sit back and play defensively now. They just need to not get late picks like that. I do want to see Bang just take the space. They need to control this map space. They're getting the paint down. You can see it with SMG. They're getting the paint down, and they're going to play for cooler here, but they need to make sure they are denying these entry points because they're still not back at mid. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah, with that Zuga kill, making it 2, looking for the third. Unfortunately, gets picked off by their other team members, but it's still what you need. 3 down on the side of Peekaboo. This is exactly what Bang needs to get back in here, as they're already getting a lot of paint into their enemy zone, along with a cooler. That's wonderful. Getting them back all the way at spawn. Wonderful map knowledge by Tipo right here, getting them down to half. Even if you don't get kills, forcing them into that half health state will force them back, just like disperse the rest of the team. With that crab, they're going to try to retaliate, though. The Galactic trades with the crab right there. Beautiful usage of special. They're past the second checkpoint right now, Sam. Well, they are trying to get back in this game.
They're going to get the stop there at 32, and that is enough to get control. I was actually, just as you said, I was thinking about it. It's very interesting to see how these teams are responding to the UI bars that are popping up. You can see a little bit of health, so teams are feeling a little bit more knowledgeable about when they can push their luck here and when they can chase, like Squinky there. Viva La Vida did try to chase that down, will manage to get out with their life, but that's the kind of difference that these changes have brought in, so beautifully done from them. A late cooler here for Bang, I feel like it was maybe a little ambitious. You don't have full control of the cart, and you don't really have the space to kind of take these fights, so you might lose a lot of this advantage it would have given you with the last minute to go.
Yeah, that Zuka, unfortunately, not at a great angle to that. You're really able to get at the picks that you want. Tipo, unfortunately, about to get shot out of the sky by that crab, so they're forced to retreat. This is just not the angle that you want to be at. right here. Drew looking for the third, is able to get it even as they were mid-air. Darn, and with Aura, they are moving, like they are schmoving, my friend. Going forward, there's 40 seconds left on the clock right here. It's still anyone's game. Bang can very much pull this back, but they have to be smart with their special uses, and they got 3 of them on deck at Peekaboo.
Yeah, Peekaboo is definitely ahead in the ultimate economy. They're going to send the stamp already. Does miss Tipo, and that's a big an opening pick for the side of Bang here is huge to get control. They need to have control of this going into it. They will lose Galactic there, and that is just big. I mean, there's no one to touch on Bang. They'll finally get control of it. Peekaboo are just going to play this a little bit slower. There's at least 2 fights they have going into this final round. So all they need to do is just play to overtime and just clear that.
Ooh, Reef
Slider onto it. It's just that easy, Jack. Just clear it in the last minute of overtime.
Did the Reef land on the tower, or was it right below it?
It made it. No,
okay, because I was about to say I was about to say that might have been a thing of the buff, because they did actually buff Reef to where it like that the funny thing where if you're on like a 2-block elevated thing above the Reef, it will not kill you, but it did right there, and Peekaboo will take game 2 right there. We're not getting a 2v1 in pools right here, but we might see it in Great White bracket.
I would say Great White bracket is going to have to be where we see it. That leads Peekaboo in with a perfect record, a 6-0, going into Great White and just kind of scoping it out around. I do see a couple other teams, Paula, Deen, Saviour, who we saw in the last, also entering into Great White with a 6-0. So lots of these teams still kind of pulling it out here. I gotta give it, like I said, you know what, call me a hater if you want, but I was a little low on Peekaboo. I felt like that first game felt a little shaky, a little hesitant, but they definitely seemed like they got their footing and turned around in Inkblot. So, they should be fine going into Great White. Bang, unfortunately, falls down a tier, but from what we saw out of them, I actually feel like they're going to do fairly well down in that second bracket, in the Hammerhead bracket. They looked very good. It just seemed like the pieces just kind of, small moment-to-moment things, small decisions really kind of didn't go their way.
Yeah, very much so. They had a great push near the end there, but they unfortunately staggered a little bit too much near the end. They weren't able to just properly coordinate and get in there. But that's what you see in right here. We are going to take a small break before we head to Great White bracket, but don't go anywhere, folks. There's still plenty of games to be had left tonight. Welcome back, everybody, as we are heading into Great White Bracket. Once again, I'm Jolteon Jack, joined by my friend Soav Sam, and we are heading in with Goats in a Bucket versus on Ball Up Top Cubed. I stumbled on the second name, gosh dang it.
It's okay. I also didn't realize that Cubed was part of it. I couldn't make it out of my first screen, but Cubed this is the play-in. It's worth noting, Jack, to that top 8. Both of these two teams coming in from the lower seeds. I believe they're both under greater than 10. So this is going to be a very interesting one here because winner will go on to play the number 1 seed. A lot on the line for both, and we were kind of discussing both of these teams. Goats in a Bucket, a lot of faces and kind of names that are probably pretty strong in the community. Allegro, I recall seeing several times about that. Same with Sigdo, but Sigdo I have unfortunately never had the pleasure to actually cast. I think every time they've been on stream, they've just not been playing, so it is what it is. But Ball Up Top, also some pretty strong and some unknowns. We actually don't know too much about Kuro other than that they are a pretty strong midline backline anchor. So a lot of I'm curious to see what these these teams bring out when we start off on Mako Mart.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very dynamic map. I feel the zone's going to be flipping back and forth. It's hard to sort of box out in this map. There's several different ways you can get in. You can get in from the two like side angles, dropping down off of the big platform back in your spawn, or just trying to like sneak around, and such a lot of weapon variety that you can see right here. We are seeing pencils from both sides. Allegro is a very prominent brush player, as you mentioned. We got a wiper and a bucket as well on that team. On the other team, we have a pencil, not a Carbon Roller, and a Forge Pro. That'll be very interesting, especially with the changes to Booyah Bomb. Already specials coming out right here. Wumia trying to get a pick, almost goes down right there, but it is already a zone in the favor of Goats in a Basket. Trades on either side. It's 2v2 right now.
That's a pretty big trade to 2v2. It's going to come down to who gets control of both of these prominent high grounds here. Goes in a bucket now moving down 270 and climbing an additional pick onto ball up top. Make that 2 is huge as Goes in a bucket will try to move and take the space. Triple splashdown is there. Kuro very low but gets punched out by Allegro. So Goes in a bucket still very, very firmly in control, and I love this. I respect this. Wumi is deep. Then Zeta just caught immediately off guard. Yeah, you were talking about closing this out very quickly. Goats in a bucket are very, very positioned to do that. They are going to take so much space and try to deny so many angles that ball top has to play from this back corner, and that's so far from the zone.
Yeah, I was saying that it's very hard to like keep a zone in control for this long, but with this poke, very centrist poke comp on their team, they are able to do it. The zone will flip right here, giving both Goats in a Bucket a massive penalty, but they're probably going to flip it right back right here with thanks to that stamp and Allegro's just massive paint that she puts out right there from the paintbrush. Unfortunately, that stamp kill still was successful, even if it was a little bit of a delay. Zeta right here just trying to find an angle to get somebody, looking to move after the pencil, and that jump unfortunately misses their opportunity and goes down to the Torp right there. They're just playing in neutral right now. Ball up top, Cube can't get back in.
It's so hard for the Carbon who has to kind of deal with both this kind of rat brush and then also, you know, these other two aggressive frontliners. Like you said, it's a very frontline heavy comp. 3 minutes on the clock, but we're out of penalty, so Goats in a Bucket now with this cooler. Like, they just have the numbers advantage. Wumi's so deep. It's over. There's a wipeout. Yeah, we're going on. Let's just ignore this and go to game 2, Jack, because Goats in a Bucket just absolutely dominated this game. I don't think ball up top could even, unfortunately, just get out of spawn, let alone...
I don't like Allegro in the Protos aisle just standing up top of the carts and looking at the person on the ink rail just jumping. That was just a little disrespectful. I respect it, but I don't. Very, very, very decisive game 1 right here. Our second game is going to be Clam Blitz on Museum Dolphoncino. This map, oh Jesus.
I'm scared for ball up top here. Like,
yeah.
We just saw a very aggressive, again, one of these kinds of very aggressive 3-1, like 3 frontline kind of quick slayer positions come out from Goats in a Bucket. And then just the support of having a cooler behind you and just knowing the rest of your team. Like, that is dangerous. Museum is not a big map, but it is big enough with enough kind of side angles that you're not playing. Like, ball up top is going to have to kind of constantly be on a swivel. It's going to really look to Kuro to kind of call out those flankers, because there is at least going to be at any given point 2 not playing in the central area, the central lane there. So, you know, it's going to really come down to the communication here, because again, there are so many different ways to kind of get this. You can't just sit on spinner and kind of assume that everybody's going to run it down mid, especially for Clam Blitz. Like, once you lose control of your own personal spinner, it's kind of very, very difficult to push it. So we'll have to see. It's going to come down to these midliners.
Yeah, very much so. However, assuming that they don't change up comp, if ball up top does get a very early start, I do think it will be very hard for Goats in a Bucket to push out against them, because of just how frontline heavy their comp is. Like, if they get moving, I feel like they might be able to steamroll on this map. But that's a big if, because there was a very clear pencil diff in the first match.
Yeah, as I say, unfortunately, we did see one pencil particularly build a lot faster and better coolers that got more value, and that player happened to be on Goats in a Bucket. Yeah, like you said, it's really going to come down to these pencil players, because the specials and particularly the coolers are really helping to dictate a lot of this. Weapon changes, probably nothing coming in from the side of Goats.
Nothing,
Yeah,
nothing as
in
well
there.
on ball up top. They're just sticking with what they know right here. The Knot, I feel, will have a much easier time on this map. I feel like Splashdown just gets a little bit more value both in clams and also just on this map with its verticality. Wumi right here just trying to take an off angle right now, just trying to play for picks right now. The Knot, unfortunately, the only one down there. They do eventually get some backup, but unfortunately that backup is now dead. Trading 1-for-1 on the side here. Goats in a Bucket are already moving up pretty quickly. However, Allegro has realized that they are a bit alone right now, and they quickly squid surge up that wall. They're moving in quick, and they got some eco to make a push if they can, but that's two down on the side of Goats in a Bucket.
Yeah, that's what I wanted at a ball up top, just recognizing when someone's under pressure to follow in, and that Booyah Bomb is used to get control of mid and to get some pressure back. It looks like the Clam economy also moving towards the way of ball up top. But 2 picks, because they're not clearing angles, making that 3 and almost 4 there. Like, you have to clear your map control, because right now Goats in a Bucket, now coming back with this cooler on board, they're just going to have the full map control, and it's up to ball on top to respond to try to get any sort of like map control back.
Yeah, they really need to do something about that pencil right there, but with how aggressive Allegro and other people are being, it's not allowing them much incentive right now. I'm seeing a lot of Squid Surge right now making full usage of that cooler. I feel like that's a ability, especially with its combo with cooler, that a lot of teams don't make use of, except at this level of play. 2 down on the side of Goat in a Bucket. Ball up top is just trying to hold on right here. Zeta is very clear right now, but they have no way to chase after that pencil who jumps out right here. But they are looking to start a push of their own. They just need to get the eco and not get flanked.
I see I saw a trade in the back there. The stamp comes out from Wumi. This is what I was talking about, though, for ball up top. They need to make sure they clear when they get, though. Just because you win the fight, you need to make sure you clear. Kuro is very deep in enemy lines trying to hold this front line. 1 special up, but it's probably not going to be enough right now, as they don't have the manpower to really pressure this through.
Wonderful splashdown right there, but unfortunately they get picked off by the pencil, and they're still able to jump out because of the pick that pencil provided. Wonderful teamwork right there by Goats in a Bucket, and they're just sitting pretty in their own base. They have more eco, their special usage is pushing them out. They got a kill, make that 2 with Allegro now moving in thanks to those strikes. They have a clear line to the basket and are probably waiting for jumps right here. No, they're taking it in the old-fashioned way.
I did see one go up, and that was exactly what I was going to call out, is it seems like both teams, the wipeout from ball up top is so big, that shutdown that immediately, considering they were sending the clam up and sent their own cooler in for this. Neither team really able to kind of get the positioning to get past their enemy spinner and in. They did get a break, so it is going to be 80 to 100 for Goats, but that's still very, very beatable. 2 down on Goats in a Bucket from trying to get those flanks, and Josh here is holding on to it. They have the numbers. They have to go, though. They have to commit this cooler. Great pick. They have to use this now, and they have to get some claims, and they have the economy in their favor. They just have to not be afraid.
Yeah, but unfortunately, with the Nautilus down, they don't feel comfortable enough to get the push, and with their teammates jumping in, that's going to be a delay on their push, and that push is now dead, and they're back in mid again. We're at the same point that we were at earlier. I can hear your sighs from here, Sam. Adam trying to get a pick with that booyah ball, and hits the sign! Meverse, how dare you!
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, I'm sighing because thankfully now with these wonderful bars, I can see when you should have stayed in the fight, but it will be enough going to go throw in that in. There's finally one push in. They're going to get a few more. They'll get the lead there now, 86, 60 and counting, down to 59. And with a minute 3 left, that is a huge 3 of them down. Adam's still holding onto that flank, but no claims to be seen. They're holding in. They'll be able to get some in there. They'll have to get out of the way. They saw that sprinkler land. That's still a very excellent push for ball up top, though. That keeps them in and alive. So now they can just sit back in this last minute and try to play for defense, try to control the clan economy, because right now ball up top have not been getting first picks in their fights, so they need to make sure they can play. Their defense has been very good. They just need to kind of ride that. But Sig gets an early pick, and that means this push is probably live.
Yeah, right now, Neo right here looking for a thing well with Allegro right now. They have specials ready. These strikes and comboing in with this stamp. Unfortunately, gets shut down right there. Beautiful, beautiful kill by Zeta. Nilla is able to get another one right here, so they are still up on base. They're not entirely pushed back, but wonderful, wonderful kill right now by Kuro. They have Aura activated. The Aura is with them, as a Lucario movie once said, and they do force the jump out. That push is now dead, and that Super Clam is probably going to be gone along with it.
That was a beautiful flank there from Kuro. Not the one I was expecting to get, but that's what you use your Nautilus for. I mean, you don't have to push this if you're ball up top. You just hold the economy, play for the overtime. There is that pity claim still floating in the back. You have specials coming in line. I hope they just play this safe, because Kuro is under so much pressure, and that is not good for them with that pick. That means that this push from Goats in a Bucket is probably coming.
Yeah, right now, especially with Nilla having this thing up in that box. Beautiful splashdown right there, is able to get one. That Booyah Bomb combo takes out two as well. That is a full stop right there. It is just the Splatana, and it looks like they're on one shot right here. Zeta gets the cleanup right there. They are going into overtime. They do still have another super claim, and they got a jump right there. They didn't see it. No! Nilla has a clear way into the base right now, but they are shut down. They can't afford to feed right here. Goats in a Bucket has to be quick, but with that, they're only down to one more person, and that time is going down quick.
Great pressure from Kuro onto this, just constantly taking that chain out. Beautifully done to them to deny the overtime. Ball up top with a very, very strong push in that second attempt. I was worried, Jack. They were playing a little passive there, but that passivity played off for them so well. A well-deserved. And finally, we get our deserved Game 3.
We do. That's the wonderful, wonderful example of adaptation mid-game right there and in between games. I love talking about it, but you have, despite how fast this game is, you need to be able to adapt, because we saw an early lead, an early precedent, even before Goats in a Bucket was able to score. They had just a very dominant control of the area, but Ball Up Top was able to just sort of take their time. And were there some stumbles along the way? Yes, but they were able to just conserve their energy to get a good push and then keep their momentum. They didn't stagger, they didn't feed, they just held on, and they were able to get some crucial kills when they needed and just hold out until Goats in a Bucket ran out of steam. But we'll see if they're able to get their steam back as we head into Ship Cargo Co., a match that we saw was very dominant in 2 sets ago. Let's see if it's as dominant here.
I do think that Ship Shape with zones does lend Ball Up Top a little bit of a kind of an edge in some ways.
Yes, I would agree. They have a much more.
Their comp is just much more suited to this. They can control the high ground a little bit better, and there's not as many good areas where you can get those kinds of flanks. Like, it's very vertical, so in some ways, Goats in a Bucket are a little bit better equipped for that. They have a bucket. They have two basically that play a little bit more vertical, so they're able to kind of pressure from the low ground. But Ball Up Top, especially if Kuro goes off like that again, like, I do think that they should be able to just kind of play and keep their eyes, because once they have a view of the whole map, Ball Up Top Cube seems to have a very, very good sense of the game.
Yeah, no, they have a wonderful, wonderful game sense, and like they were able to like quickly adapt and realize when they just need to play defensive right there. I don't necessarily know if we'll see that passivity that you were talking about in this game. This is, as you were mentioning, a very poke-heavy comp that we see from Goats in a Bucket is very favorable here. But it might just be a case of the unstoppable force meets another unstoppable force. So we'll just have to see as we go in right here. No changes on either side. They know what works. They found their rhythm, and let's see how that rhythm makes a beautiful melody as we head into Game 3 here.
It's really gonna come down to initially here who gets control of the high ground and who ends up pressuring it off. The first pick goes the way on Ball Up Top. That means they're gonna get out of the way. I did see the first, it looked like the first, wow, let's say the specials come out. The first cooler did hit on the side of Ball Up Top, but I believe they passed with it, so they'll have it quick in going to this next fight. But Goats in a Bucket, this is what they're going to do. They're going to push aggressively and try to make Ball Up Top spend to get this, even though they have with control of this. And early wipeout is huge for Ball Up Top. Huge. Yeah,
that's wonderful. They realized that they were down a player as well as just in bad positioning, so they jumped out, forced Goats in a Bucket to chase, and then were just able to pick them off one by one when they got separated. Very, very, very smart play and keeping your cool right here. And now Josh is in a wonderful, wonderful position, just pressuring them with that pencil, not allowing the Goats to escape the bucket that they have climbed in. They might not be crabs in a bucket, but they aren't getting out just as easily. It's 2 down, however, on the side of Ball Up Top. This Booyah Bomb and Splashdown are going to do their best to try to disperse and just hold the line right here. Nilla looking for some type of kill against Kuro right here, forcing Kuro back. Probably going to need a jump out in a second, but they are not getting a way to do so. The zone does flip onto the side of Goats in a Bucket, and they are out back into mid here.
I'm not crazy about Ball Up Top spending those specials to try to deny the push. I would have rather seen them wait, but not exactly in this position to do so. It's going to be a bazooka. Trizuka goes out, gets one with a trade. Still flip control, 48-49 here with about 3.5. It will go back the way of Goats in a Bucket. And I think if Goats in a Bucket just kind of can eventually just press this out, it's a wide enough zone, but there's kind of, Goats just seem to be throwing themselves at this. I want to see a full regroup because Ball Up Top are firmly in control right now. There just needs to be a full regroup from Goats in a Bucket to going into this next fight.
I mean, hey, that Splatana was able to survive for like quite a while in that corner for much longer than I thought they would. Josh right here is just trying to get some picks right now, but with most of Goats in a Bucket hanging down onto left side, they need to be ready. That Stamp is able to get a kill, trying to combine it with these strikes to get a good flanking. Woomy unfortunately gets shut down by Josh right there. Aura activates, which will allow the pop. I am frozen. Kuro is back in the zone right here. They do take lead, as we see right here. There's 2.5 minutes left on the clock. So that all depends on if Goats in a Bucket are able to get together. That beautiful splashdown right there doesn't get anybody, but is able to force them off into the different parts of the zone, and they keep counting down. They're down to 12 points, 11, 10. Is it going to be a game right here?
3. They lose control in the last second. Goats in a Bucket managed to get it back in. The jump in from Kuro is there, and Josh, there comes the rest of the reinforcements. 2 down, 3 down. Ball up top will get it back in control here as Nilla just trying desperately to hang into there, but the reinforcements and cavalry's here. Ball up top gets control and closes it out. That was beautifully done. Ball up top forcing the Goats to kind of just ignore, just kind of basically ignore the objective. This is a classic case of we're looking to try to trade the kills and win the fights, and Ball up top just continued to tick down the zone the whole way through. Whether it was intentional or not, it was a great play. So ball cubed here. They get to go on. Beautifully done from them.
I like to say it's intentional right here. Ball up top cube taking it to 1. I say it's intentional because Splat Zones is that type of map where trades are suddenly much more valuable, because even if you get a trade and both teams wipe out, the person who had zone control is still in lead right there. The zone is still counting down, so that they were just able to get so many points because they were just taking trades at the end there, and it was able to secure their victory even with the zone neutralized for so long, because they just kept taking trade after trade after trade right there.
Yeah, but counterpoint, Jack, I mean, you can't. This is that meme. You gotta play the objective. You can't let it just tick down like that. That's like the crux. That's the meme of all this, is you can't let that go. So I don't know, man. I do think, like you said, I think it was an important and it was the right call, but you cannot let it forget, especially when that is on the line. It looks like, Jack, we have our next game ready, but I believe that's probably our time. I think I feel like the hook is coming for us at this point.
I feel the comedic shepherd's crook from off stage just beckoning us to come a little bit closer before they pull us off into the wings, and then we are never seen from again. But so the good people in our audience are able to find us after we do exit stage left. Please do tell us, my friend Soav, where they can find you.
Yeah, you will find me casually floating around here, IPL and several of these other ones, but primarily I do float around in Overwatch world. On there, I'm also on Twitter. Sometimes I stream various games, so you'll find me around. But I love my tourist time here in Splatoon, so thank you all for letting me to come on the mic. And Jack, as an upcoming prominent member of the community, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on the Blue Sky at Jolteon Jack, where the handle will be Jolteon Jack VA. You can find me also at Twitter at Jolteon Jack 22, upcoming voice actor, hoping to get back into things. The winter storm may have killed my motivation, but I'm trying to crawl it back from the grave. We're gonna see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for being with us tonight, but don't go anywhere, because as you can see, we got the next matches queued up. So stick around. We'll see you in a bit.
Get ready for the next battle, ladies, gentlemen, they, them, stars in between. My name is SPF Dark, and we're coming at you live here from IPL to bring you the second half of SOS 215. But of course, I'm never alone in these Nevers tonight. I am joined by a very good friend of mine.
Who am I, Dark?
I don't know, you get to introduce yourself. I'm not you.
I don't know, you could be nice enough to tell people. I'm just kidding. Hello, everybody. I am Fufu, the one and only, joined here by, I guess, the guy that doesn't know my name, Dark.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's the angle we want to play that.
Well, it wasn't obvious how things are going to go during this set. It's going to be chaotic, and I know you guys are here for a good time. And for quite a while, too. We'll be here for the next 2.5 hours to 3 hours, depending how these next matches go. But we have our next set ready for us.
Yeah, we do have our next set ready for us, and apparently there was a little bit of miscommunication. Happens sometimes, no big deal, as they had already played out their first set here on this second round of bracket here. Super Team Fighting Me. Hold on. Super Fighting Me Team Supreme. I'm not saying all of that. Got the first game off over Pollo. So, yeah, I guess we're going to be moving on to round number 2 to kick things off here.
So, Undertale Spillway, you know, we don't like it. We've been over there. It's actually okay. It's an okay map. But fun fact about this map, before the patch, there were actually instances of the old Undertow coming into play. Like, literally, the old Undertow was showing up for no reason. It was like, we didn't ask for you. We didn't ask for you here. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I saw that. I was very confused by it, but I guess they surely fixed it with the hot fix patch that we blew out today. But none of that really matters today here, folks, as we're kicking off the second match of the second round here. You know, this is the first SOS I'm watching, or first matches I'm watching anyways, of the new patch. So I'm very excited and eager to see exactly how things have been shaken up here. And I do see nothing too major in terms of weapon, of course, that would have been compared to the last patch.
Very much so here, but things are definitely kicking off. I'm hoping to see some auras going off here in a little bit, but already very chaotic opening here in center. Pollo does get that tower first here and does have that player advantage, giving them that chance to get some more points on the board. Goji is there on the tower trying to make some waves, not quite really finding anything as Pollo successfully gets that first control of center, Dark.
Yeah, but the thing is, with this map, is the first checkpoint here. It really, anyone can get through it without any issues. It's so early on the map that it might as well not even be there. The main point of contention here is this second checkpoint heading to the third checkpoint, where a lot of the fighting this game is going to revolve around to, and how well these teams can fight against each other. There's special getting thrown left and right to try and maintain control, try to maintain the agenda here. But Super Fighting Me Team Supreme does go down a few players, and Pollo is going to be able to get this second checkpoint without too many issues here if they can hold on to their butts, especially with the bug bubbler being used out there.
I saw that one player getting nuked right outside the bubble, and I felt that in my soul. But again, it doesn't stop Pollo's momentum as they are able to keep moving forward. But that may just be to an end soon, losing 2-3 players here. But Thaco's still able to hold the ground. You know, if you're going to be named Pollo and you're going to have Thacos on your team, you better be eating. And I'm going to see that here in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job out repelling some of that that counter push from Super Fighting Me Team Supreme here. So now they're back in the driving seat once again, and more importantly, they don't have to go through those 2 checkpoints that they already cleared through. And just like that, they're already getting to the point where they can extend their lead even further using the big bubbler. Unfortunately, though, the network does not allow that as they were shut down from within the bubble. But another bubble was used. They're getting away with this third checkpoint, and it's going to be a bit of a trouble for them to try and recover their Pollo, slowly losing players bit by bit, getting collapsed on, and Super Fighting Me Team Supreme is going to be able to recover this at the very least and try and push these back to mid.
I think for the first time in an entire half of the match, Pollo's push is pretty much over here. Super Fighting Me Team finally seeing an opening of their own. 3 players off of Pollo all over again. All that's left is to finally get some points on that checkpoint. Love seeing those specials ready. Love seeing that cooler ready to go here. I feel like we're going to start seeing waves here in just a second. Again, just waiting for that tower to get through the checkpoint. And I love how these players have just taken their time. Okay, we're going to take off center. And now our specials are going to go say hi.
Now holding the Booyah Bomb for the right time to try and get the maximum amount of time to push that tower through the second checkpoint. Using the Inkzuka to clear space so they can try and contest this checkpoint with even less issues here. The Pollo is starting to get clumped up here, starting to lose some ground, but they're not wanting to let this go just yet. The hammer was thrown to try and clear the tower, and it did buy them some time now. And 2 players down from MT means that the Pollo is able to recover this and prevent them from pushing past its second tower, as this tower moves back to mid at the very least and we return back to neutral.
Yeah, very much so. Specials come out once more there, seeing that Tsuka, I think, from Goji here, not really finding much, if anything, there, and going down yourself. What an unfortunate use of special. But Pollo still manages to get things going here, quickly returning back to the spot that they are. Dude, where are you going? You're just able to pop. I hate Blaster, Dark. Did I mention that?
I mean, as a Blaster player myself, you know, it's part of the course from what I'm used to seeing here. Using that Blaster just to be annoying under the ledges, around the corner, and just like that, me team is losing momentum. They're losing the power. They're pressing. They had through that third checkpoint. No one's going to be there to contest them in time. And Pollo was just able to cruise past to victory at the very end.
Very, very good stuff, if you do ask me. Pollo had a very dominant match during this game right here. I don't know if Undertow Tower was just their thing or if something went wrong during the last game, because, you know, you'd think me team would be the one to have the advantage going to the next game just based off that score, but no, Pollo's here to show something otherwise.
Yeah, it's a wonder as to what exactly happened and what unfolded on that first match here. We won't ever really know anymore at this point, so we gotta take what we've seen from the second game, try and figure out, fill in some of the spaces from that first game, and move on over to the third game here to see exactly what the end result might be, because Zone Tigerfish Market, it's a bit of a neutral map. There is some trouble areas, specifically whenever you're pushed up to your side of the map and you can get in a potential lockout. If you don't play your cards right, then it can be very devastating in a situation like that, especially with something like a Blaster around. But it's not necessarily as bad as something like Ship Shape Cargo Company.
Yeah, Hagglefish are baby. That is like everyone. Like, okay, it's not loved as Macomart, but it is like, it's the OG, you know, it's been here since the start. We love her. I love her, but obviously I'm a Charger player, so why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't the anchor love Hackfish Market? But again, on this map, I'm expecting those 30-second paints on the zone because God knows this map calls for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a very fun game to watch as well, because if I remember from the last game, both teams also had a pencil, so it's really just going to be both teams just constantly painting over one another with the pencils, and I think actually a lot of this might boil down to how some of the frontliners want to try and play and break through the line from the enemy team, because you do have that constant paint output from the pencils to rely back on, so it's going to be up to those frontliners to try and push and make something else happen. But something I'm just realizing now as I'm like thinking about the game is that I don't think we saw Aura from that last game.
I don't think so, but before we actually go forward with that, I want to also mention the minis if it comes out again here on the side of Pollo, because that is also such a big thing for paint, and yep, it is coming out. So I feel like there's a lot of paint advantage on the side of Pollo if they can get themselves in, and especially if the mini and the pen are on board, I don't think there's going to be a lot of flipping happening.
Yeah, no, and then when he gets that bubble on the zone, they can just run away with a lot of points. Out the gate, they're able to at least get a few points on the board without any contest there, as Mean Team is going to be looking to try and see exactly how they want to take an approach to Pollo here, but it looks like they're just going to give up some space, get to a Caterpillar ready to go on the approach here, but no, they get shut down immediately. The pencil at the 10 and the Stamper goes down, means that Pollo has a very good opening here to try and lock out this game, potentially.
Yeah, and unfortunately, reckless plays there from Me Team. It definitely had its consequence. Pollo able to take the zone in their favor, already almost halfway through the points, but of course, some bit of paint contention once the 10 and the pencil enter the field here. But Sky doing a great job taking those chips, helping out. Nearly, I don't know how Goji lived that. You should have been dead. God knows how long ago, but that is going to be the zone flipping.
Yeah, the zone does get flipped, giving a small amount of penalty points to Pollo here, but Me Team can't seem to hold it for much of anything as the zone's back in Pollo's favor. They have Tactical online. They're looking to especially go on the aggressive here, on the offensive here, to try and keep Me Team out of mid, try to keep them out and away from the zone so they can extend their lead as far forward as they can. Pick after pick after pick. Super Meme Team Fighting Supreme is not able to keep up with his momentum with this aggression from Pollo.
Yeah, very much so here. And no penalty points on the board once more here. ATP on the left side trying to find some sort of opening, not quite finding it, but those whales from Trey may just be what they need to get themselves on the board. Not finding any picks just yet, but that Booyah Bomb could be the answer they want. Oh, so much paint from Trey here on that gal, but it's not enough between a mini. But that's it. Wait, just the pen.
Yeah. That's it. They're able to flip that fight. Pollo now push back to their side of the spawn, and importantly, they have a Super Meat team fighting Supreme. That gal has aura up, if I'm right with what I just saw, so they can absolutely try and leverage that as best they can to keep the momentum going, keep their aggression going, and just hold forward and keep their streak going. But I don't know if they can keep it up in time, as Pollo seems to take a slow and steady approach, waiting for the specials, waiting for the right time to strike. They do have ample amount of time here, but with only 48 ticks remaining on the zone, they gotta act fast soon before they lose the lead.
Yeah, and I want to put your attention upward, as Pollo does have pretty much all their specials active, except the cooler here. Hammer does go out, not quite really finding anything they want, going down in the process. Still, Zimmy and Blaster have their specials, but with the lead swapping, and there's an air of desperation, Dark. It's just a Blaster! This doesn't look good. I think this is going to be it for Pollo.
Yeah, with the Blaster being the last player standing, there wasn't much of anything they could have done at that moment. Oh, but the pencil, can you imagine the flip that could have been if the pencil was able to secure the zone? But no, unfortunately for Pollo, with the Blaster last standing, there wasn't much they could have done anyways at that point. Maybe the fight at the end could have been flipped there if the Blaster got a pick or two and the pencil was able to at least keep the zone consistent long enough for the remainder of their team to come in. But that's a lot of could have, would have, should have talk right there.
Very much so. And I also want to mention that there were literally 3 specials up on Pollo, and I don't know if I feel like they were waiting for like a cooler to come out, because they held their specials for a good 10 to 15 seconds, which, and especially in a situation like that, if you have 3 specials up, you might as well start fighting out, because if you screw up and you die without, I don't know, it was either you're dying without cooler or you're trying to fight back without it. I feel like that wait wasn't really worth it for the outcome that we got, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that too. Just holding those onto the specials for a bit too long. But hey, at the end of the day, you made it this far in a bracket, so you can't be really too mad about that. So moving on forward, Super Fighting Me Team Supreme is going to be heading into semi-finals for SOS Top Cup. Well, unfortunately, Pollo is going to be sent home at this point. But yeah, no, I think with that round being done, we do have a bit of a wait for a second match here, so we're gonna be. Did they done? Oh, well, wait. Words from the voices in my head.
The voices in our head are. Oh yeah, we look like we're delusional when we're being talked to. It's the voices in our head. We're delusional together, Dark.
Yeah, I suppose it is. That happens. Whatever. No break anymore. We're moving on.
I still want Tums.
Yeah.
I want Tums. I'm gonna grab Tums. They're in my bag. They're right here. Dark, you want to tell the people what's happening?
Happening with what?
You tell me.
I don't know. You can be talking about a lot of different things. I know what's happening next for this tournament, if that's what you're talking about specifically.
I don't know. The teams are right in front of you.
All right. You know, you could have been more clear about that. It's like, come on.
Come on.
Semi-finals here.
Listen.
Semi-finals here. We got our next match ready for you all, folks. Here, we're already watching What Doing going up against. I'm gonna say that's Tilines, and so otherwise corrected. But yeah, no, our semifinals match here. And now, because we're in semifinals, we're moving from a best of 3 to a best of 5. So a little bit more gameplay for you all, folks. A little bit more time in this game to see exactly how this set will play out. Especially now, of course, we're going to kick this set off on Mahi Mahi zones.
Oh, I know how much you guys love Mahi Mahi. It's honestly your guys' favorite of all time, best map of all time. You know, you get to relax with some not real map during the first half of the game. It's kind of awesome. And then suddenly you only become real once you're like about to lose. Kind of awesome, right? Anyways, I love this map. I know, yada yada, charge your main, yada yada, save it. But I think it's going to be an interesting one to start on, if I'm being honest. I think it's a unique map. And it's pretty stable for the most part. So
I do wonder how much the aura might affect the first half of this game here, aura flow. Because it's a bit of a small map, until the water level drops, and so if someone is able to get aura right out the gate here with a good lucky fix, I pretty sure they can run away with a lot of points, leveraging that aura to cover a lot of ground, a lot of space from when the water level's up to be able just to lock them out for as long as they can. I mean, that's all on the assumption that they get aura in the first place, right? But I think with the small enough map like this, I don't think that's entirely out of the case.
Yeah, very much so. And there's multiple factors that do build up to Flora. And I think the dangerous part about Flora is not the actual buffs it gives, but the mental momentum it gives a player. And like, I feel like that is the single most dangerous part about it. Yeah. Because the second you like, the aura shows you're like, God dang it. They're at it. They're at it again. Someone shoot them. Shoot them right now.
Yeah, it's very funny to see how aura's been handled in these early times right now. Who knows how much of this will change over the next coming weeks and months, right? But it's very much like you get aura, the first thing you actually want to do is just hold forward and just try and keep that to your advantage. Because the thing that I'm realizing that's like actually pretty powerful, that other than just all the stats it gives you, is the fact that aura still lasts after you get splatted. So if you play your card, if you play your cards right, you could go down for a trade and get a little bit extra time to cover the respawn, jump in, and you're pretty much at where you were in the aura timer from when you got splatted, and be able to keep your momentum going. I'm telling you, aura is actually kind of crazy.
Also, I can't believe we're unironically saying aura in here, but we are. No, what's worse is like, imagine dying with cooler. So you just come back and just aura all over again. Ooh, I'm auraing everywhere. I hate myself.
Yeah? You want to finish that?
No, I really don't. But, you know, I don't like it no more. Suddenly, I'm good without. I'm good.
What? Did you actually not know that it lasted through death?
I cannot play the game!
Oh! I thought, okay, no.
I forgot I have a chronic injury. I'm crying.
No, I'm saying, I thought we were still talking about aura when you said I can't play the game. Look, listen, man, you gotta cut me some stack here,
How
man.
dare you? How could you? Mods jump this guy.
No, first of all. Okay, sure.
You're making fun of me.
Yeah? Are we doing this now?
I don't know. Worse has been said. It's okay.
All right, man. Sure. Oh,
listen. I mean, we could talk about what happened in the dreaded drag zone, but we're not going to.
No, dude, that is not something we mentioned here. I don't know why you brought it up in the first place, because then they're going to start asking about what happened, and then we're going to have to respond in some way, shape, or form, and it's going to make us look bad. So you're just the one
dragging it on. We could have been done with this by now. You dragged it on.
You mentioned it in the first place.
Anyways, Hamahi Mahi Resort. Love that place. It makes me feel like I'm in Puerto Vallarta. Awesome. Yeah, I miss Mexico. Yeah, I miss the beach, Dark. I'm in a desert. I
was literally about to say, what beach?
It was when I went on vacation.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. The motherland?
It is the motherland. I don't think we should be talking about this right now. I think we have more important things to talk about right now other than
the game?
Yeah!
Listen, they're giving us time. This is what we do with time. Like you say, person with ADHD, show up here like just a little bit before the game starts. You got a little bit of time to kill. What are we going to talk about? Aura, Mexico, and ADHD.
I mean, those are your topics, right? But
what do you want to talk about, Doug?
I actually don't know. I was hoping by the time we've got done with this bit, they'd be ready yet. But it seems that we're still waiting a little bit more time, and that's fine. You know, no big deal. But
see, you can't tell me nothing.
I had hoped that our friends, our players here would have been ready already.
Listen, Dark.
I see.
Listen, first thing first. If they're adding aliases, I heard alias issues from our voices upstairs. If they're actually like changing their aliases to their actual names, I love you. I'm gonna give each and every one of you a smooch. However, if you're on stream and you actively choose not to put an alias that matches and makes our lives easier, I'm gonna blow you up personally. That is my hot take. I'm gonna blow you up personally. Like, please make our jobs easier. Like, I cannot beg y'all enough.
Yeah, I mean, what more can we do, really? But, I mean, because no one wants to enforce, like, naming rules, right? So it's like...
Courtesy. It's like a courtesy
It
thing.
is courtesy.
Like,
I do agree with
stream,
that.
That's whatever. It's whatever, right? But if you're on stream, help us out just a little bit. Just a little. I know it's a small thing. If you're already late, it doesn't matter. Just get in the room. But if you're like, you're on time, you can get in, change your name. And it auto saves your last alias. It actually isn't that hard. Change your dang name.
Is this your pet peeve with commentary rant section?
Yes!
Of the stream?
Listen, it's the other one. If you do not have existing issues and you're being late for the love of the game, I'm gonna blow you up too. Except I'm adding a second bomb in the mix. This is the time where I'm going to yell at people. Because if you hear a player and you actively choose to be late and make us go home later, my food. I want food by the end of this, and you're infringing on my food time. And everyone else's food time. I want food!
I mean, I already ate before this, so this sounds more like...
So did I. When I get hungry. Have you ever heard of a snack? I want a snack.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a snack, but...
Right. Anyways, thought you guys would know. And if this applies to you, I'm watching you. I'm literally watching you.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
They'll find out.
Yeah, are you threatening people? Are you actually threatening people?
That's for them to find out.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways. What a good timing. Oh my god. Semi-finals, folks. Mahi zones here. We have, I don't even got the team name, so to keep it a buck chat. What doin versus Tilines here.
Yep, and there is a lot of silliness happening here on the field today, but already some interesting stuff happening. Rapid winters, nothing too crazy, but I do like that brush pick. That brush pick, I'm very interested to see how that comes out, and I'm not going to see that anytime soon because Tilines just went 2 down. 3 down, actually, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, good opening for what doing means that they can get secure the zone for themselves and try and run away to those 60-point mark until when the map really opens up. And I think they should be able to do this without any issues here. They're set up and they're positioned in a way that it makes it hard for Tilines to really want to try and drop down on them. And I think they're going to opt to just give this zone until the water level drops, as like he just did there. And give them more ample room to play with, more ample room to move around with to try and contest what doing. But I guess what doin was ready for that play as they took down Tilines 1 by 1 and now looking to try and lock them out here.
Yeah, I love the lack of hesitation there. Just, all right, we're going to go here right now. We're going to go do this right now. But as I say that, they are taking a little bit of that spot in mid, choosing to stick back just a little bit, use a lot of that range that they have in store, especially from that pencil and that blaster. But I think that just gave one too many opportunities here for the players of Tilines who have found their way in. Not quite able to get the zone just yet, but a hammer from banggg may just be the calling card to get everyone else in. But no, unfortunately not.
I gotta give it an Axis there for just keeping their cool against a running rush, riding right for them to hit those shots and get the pick there. I guess it doesn't matter too much at the end of the day though, as Tilines is still able to secure the zone and start running with the points to close some of the lead. Gets one, almost escapes with the life though, but Axis once again being the anchor of the lifetime here, being able to escape with their lives as well from the clutches of that step. What was that?
That was an unfortunate miss from the Stamper. I think that's what it was. It was just unfortunate, but Tilines does find their first major advantage of the game here. They are losing their bucket in this retake though. And make that 2 with the brush here. That Booyah Bomb not really seeing much value, as what doing's Booyah Bomb is going to be the final thing that gets that zone cap for what doing.
Yeah, you good use of the special to try and secure the clap and give a decent amount of penalty points to Tilines as they are trying to get the remaining picks out from mid and trying to force them back into their southern spawn here. Ignite here almost got clipped by the bomb, though. They do escape without any harm, but 2 goes down from What Doing, 1 down from Tilines. It's still relatively anyone's game right now, as both the aggressive players on What Doing are looking to try and hold the front line as best they can. But we do see the Buya bomb was popped and gets canceled immediately, and this was looking really good for What Doing.
Yeah, very good, but that zone flipped right under their noses. That zone did flip here, applying that hefty 40. What? One bomb. It takes 1 bomb, and that's 3 gone. Tilline is finding their chance to get back in. Cooler for Axis here. A very selfish cooler, but one that definitely proves useful to stall at the zone, but it just isn't enough. Despite the rest of their teammates getting there, it's not enough to flip the zone in their favor. And there we go. Now we see the zone flip, but Tilline, losing members little by little, is going to be in quite deep waters here as 3 of them are down.
Yeah, this is a delayed wipeout here for Tilines. This is What Doing, looking trying to get themselves set up and keep this momentum going. Ignite here gets another pick against Tilines, and now looking to try and see who dares threaten to drop down in front of them yet again. Tilines has to wait for those specials to come in. We see the Booyah Bomb, we see the Tri-Strikes come out to try and flip the zone, and the zone is flipped, giving another chunk of penalty points to What Doing, but I don't know if we at the end of the day.
Yeah, they still have to follow up and get the zone once more here, despite those penalty points being applied and giving them an opportunity. Everything else still has to follow up. So with the rest of the members moving forward here, getting some space on the zone, 1 pick, 2 pick, almost 3. That is 3. But the numbers get evened out really quickly. But as I say that, Tilines does see some light at the end of the tunnel, is able to get the zone in their favor.
Ooh, ripping here on a rampage, keeping momentum in Tilines' favor here as they're getting pick after pick after pick, and now with the delayed wipeout there, so What Doing now forced to be back on their side of the map with those penalty points gone for Tilines as well. They got to move in quick and fast if they want to try and potentially lose this lead. With only 30 seconds as well, it's going to be a do or die right now. I think they only have 1 real team fight left in them to try to flip this game.
Yeah, very much so here. They are fighting to keep this zone. Brush and Esplash on, 1 down on each side here. Specials come out, but 3 down, and Esplash is not enough to keep that zone painted, flipping once more into What Doing's favor. 15 seconds left, Ark. This is incredibly grim for Tilines. Unless there is some divine blessing that shows up within the next 10 seconds, this could very well be the end of this game.
Oh, the stripes may be the last touch ever. They're here to stay alive a little bit longer, but 3 down from Tilines. This means that they weren't able to clutch it out at the end, as What Doing expertly picked off the remainder players from Tilines to deny them that overtime potential.
Yeah, what a game there. And What Doing did a really good job at sustaining what they had. Tilines had a really great ways of saving or keeping themselves in the game, but just had a lot of difficulty, sustaining what opportunity they did have. It was almost like it got a little messy or got a little staggered, almost like an air of desperation there. And What Doing, calm, was able to take things back and win the first game.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good sign of what their game plan might be. Just not letting that panic, not letting that pressure get to them, especially when it got kind of close at the end there. But no, a good showing for What Doing here for this first game in semifinals. Now, moving on to game number 2, Clan Blitz Scorch Gorge. It's a bit of a different map, in all honesty, compared to Mahi Mahi Resort.
Arizona home is what that is to me. Scorch Gorge, the desert, we know each other just a little bit, we're a little familiar. But Clan Blitz Scorch Gorge, still not my favorite map known to man, and definitely has its quirks. There's a big thing in the middle. There's just this big slab of rock in the middle that I feel makes mid feel a lot smaller than it is. Of course, players at this level, I don't think are going to have as much trouble with that dreaded middle space that I talk about, though.
Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of this map, I don't think a lot of players actually necessarily fear or make use of mid here on Scorch Gorge. It's kind of left as an afterthought, as a lot of the fighting I see kind of tends to happen around mid rather than on top of it itself, as well as the ramps leading up to the objectives, in this case the clan baskets, right? But It's definitely a bit of a different tempo here because not only do you have just like this big pillar in the middle of the map, but you also it's just a lot wider and a lot less cramped than what Mahi Mahi was, especially in the beginning, you know. So we could see a few changes in weapons here, something that wants to take advantage of these more open areas and wider sight lines. I don't think we'll lose a pencil though. I think that's definitely going to stay no matter what. But who knows? We might see a few surprises here and there.
So, and I want to go back to that middle because you talked about it being an afterthought. I like to think of it more like as a stepping stone. People use it just to get where they need to be and get out of there. And it's just, unless you're an anchor, maybe that's like the only exception. And even then, we're not there for long. Swing left, rah! You know, like I love swinging left on this map. That is my favorite thing to do as an anchor, and I will continue to do it, whether y'all think I should be in the middle or not. Rah!
Yeah. I don't think we've seen people use the new Rapid Pro yet, have we?
It's right there.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying before this, like, that's...
No, it was there yesterday, too. Not yesterday, it was the last game.
Was it? I'm just not like...
It was their last game, yeah.
God, I've never remembered that.
It was there. It was literally there. Listen, I know my memory's bad, too, but it's I think I got that. I think I got that, but...
I'll trust you on that. I'll trust you on that.
Yeah.
Oh man, but what an opener for here as we see these specials getting used to very quickly, especially for Scorch Gorge and Standard, to get over to the clan basket, to the power clan, and get a good amount of points here with this first update, especially within the first minute as well.
Yeah, very big waves here happening, and look how many points are already off of the field. There's not much there you could do except take those points as they are, but we're only a minute in. We're only a minute in.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, there was a really good and a really aggressive opening here for Tilines, as they were able just to, out the gate, get those first points, taking out a 59 on the first push. It was a very impressive thing here. But now what they're trying to go for their own counter push here. They have the power clan, and they've opened up the basket, and goes in, jumps. I'm at a loss of words of how fast that all happens there. Everything just happened at once. Oh.
It's like we were there and then we were not right here. And, you know, that's just kind of how things are. Tilines was able to take that, not Tilines, that is what doing, that did manage to get that lead in their favor here. Tilines is actually the players looking forward to take some more points of their own. Beautiful Kraken. I love using Kraken as a displacement tool and murder weapon if you feel silly enough. But just one clam there will be enough to take the lead here for Tilines.
Yeah, I mean, for Scorched Clams, this is a very active game here. I mean, both of these two teams have gone back-to-back pushes here, and Tilines is not wanting to let this go as they keep jumping in one after another. The Boya Bomb popped there to try and hopefully take one player down with them, but unfortunately does not find that pick there. But at the very least, Tilines is able to actually leverage it to be able to take some control of mid back here as they were forced to reset here. And what's going down to a few players, it's kind of neck and neck right now in mid.
Yeah, very much so. It was just such a massive battlefield here in center just a second ago. And, you know, as the water clears just a little bit here, it's really weird neutral situation. We're not seeing as much accident. You know, we saw all of those deaths like 0.2 seconds ago, and we got nothing from it. We're still in mid. We got nowhere. But I think that's going to change right now. 2 down, 3 down on the side of what doing. Tilines finding another opportunity to get some points. They don't have a power clam active, though. That is a problem. There we go. Power clam active. Points are active. So are those strikes. And we're going to see it. Maybe a knockout.
It could be a knockout here if they play their cards right. They gotta make sure they have people throwing clams at the basket, though. As their backline was not supported there, they were able to shut down that backline and just systematically take them down one by one. But doesn't matter, though, as Tilines was able to hold their ground. Last player standing, throw in the final clams they need to secure this game and knock it out.
Yeah, very, very good stuff there from Tilines. They did a great job. They felt so comfortable on this map, it felt like, you know, especially when you added the brush to the mix. That brush was just a cherry on top. I love the way they were just using every ledge and just all of the range they had at their disposal to cause chaos on a map like this. And I think if you were going to do it, this was the map to do so. So great level of comfort there, great level of confidence, just really good stuff.
Yeah. Confidence is kind of key, especially going from a best of 3 to a best of 5 here. You know, you gotta be sure you know what you're doing and how you want to play out the remainder of this set. You have 2 games already to know exactly what the vibe is for the enemy team. So now with this third game coming up on Inkling Tower Control, You know, you got to be making sure you start applying some of that game knowledge that you've gotten over these past 2 games and seeing exactly how you want to leverage it, especially with a more neutral map like this. I maybe want to say one of the definitive neutral maps in this game. You know, this is the moment where you want to start applying a lot of those like little things that you picked up these past 2 games.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, it's like you said, neutral. It's incredibly neutral. You think, you know, Scorchforge is pretty bad at stalling people in mid. And then here comes Inkling Art Academy. That is the final, like, outside of Museum, that is our final boss. That I've seen Inkball Art Academy games go up to 4 minutes without anyone making a definitive push. Like, it's ridiculous. But on that same breath, I am going to say that this map can also be incredibly snowbally. Again, teams at this level know what they're doing, know what the game plan is when it comes to the Inkball tower control, especially.
Yeah, no, kicking off this 3rd game here, no major changes from what I can tell. The only big change here is Axis moving away from the pencil to a heavy edit, but that's really being the only major change here, as now we see the breakaway to see exactly where these players are landing, where these players are eyeing to try and poke out the enemy team. Tilines taking a bit of a slower approach here as what Doin takes advantage and majority control here in mid here. Tactical are already online here, means that they can make the first move to try and get this Pesh going, especially with 3 down.
Oh my goodness, yeah, look at that. Tilines just losing practically all their members. Ace really is out for blood, nearly taking Luis out while they were added. That was just for the love of the game. That was genuinely, like, that was personal for the love of the game. But what doing? Beautiful start here, and quickly approaching that second checkpoint. First checkpoint does not exist on this match, by the way. It just does not exist. If someone tells you it's there, no, it's not.
I mean, it's up to player interpretation, I guess, but but no, Tilines is able to actually recover some of this push here and halting what Doin's momentum here. But Z end up hitting the player court here, looking to try and see exactly who they can pick out, who they can poke away, and what Doin gets the tower back under the control, looking to try to test that second tower once again. But no, 2 down, going out the gate from what Doin means that this push is good as gone.
Yeah, and Axe is putting that cooler back here in a laid back position here in center, but not really finding that support. Forced out and killed mid-air of all things. I almost feel bad that that cooler didn't quite reach their teammates, but it's going to be exactly what Tilines wants, as 3 specials are up for them. And between the Kraken and Booyah Bomb, there could be a lot of deaths that happen here in just a second.
That hit? Okay, that was a Kraken hitbox right there, I guess, because I did not believe that should have hit. That should have been the one-tap hit, but I guess it works out in Tilines' favor as they're able to push back what Doin's initial deconstruction of that push here, and now they're looking to try and get the push going yet again, seeing if we can break past through this first checkpoint. But we do see that Gao is still in the backline, still active. They got to be very mindful of that, because they can be purposely harassed or purposely pulled away, as they just were there. 2 players looking back to turn around to go for that single Gao, but what Doing enough time here to actually push up and stop this, or at least slow down the push here.
Yeah, very much so, and it seems like, oh, there's a... And they're going to be going down with it. Play. Tilines finally sees another light, taking the lead while they're at it too. This is incredibly dangerous territory for what Doing. You know, they're past the second checkpoint. They have nothing stopping them. The most they don't have anymore is special. Ace Gal here in the back lines, nearly ready to make a possibly game-saving push here. If they can get Luis out of the way here and split this attention. No, there goes the team. Nope, their team is out. Their team is out, Dark. This is it. That's game. Yeah. That's this game.
Wait a minute. Well, okay. There was some hope there at the end for what Doing to maybe go for a last-minute Hail Mary there, but it did not pan out that way for what Doing is. Tilines was able to actually very cleanly, once they got control of the tower again on the second half of this game, was able to just get it going and knock this out without too many issues.
Yeah, once Tilines finds that momentum and just finds that comfort, it almost feels like they're unstoppable. They just see it to the finish line. And, you know, I love seeing it. It's just satisfying. It's like, all right, go, my scarab. It's like letting your dog off a leash. It's like, all right, go. And they're like, I can go? And it's like, yeah, you can go. And they go win a game.
That's aura flow right there. That's aura flow right there, you know?
Period. You know, y'all can't lose anymore. I'm glazing you. I don't know who y'all are. Win. Yeah. You gotta win now.
I mean, do you think they have it here in this game number 4, Clan Blitz Umami Ruins?
Considering the map layout, I think it's very possible they find that comfort that I was talking about, like they did in the last 2 games, just because of how lockout heavy Umami Ruins tends to be. There's not a lot of, space that you can take on the defending side if it gets really bad. It's like they can go all the way up to your spawn. So if Tilines finds himself in that position again, who knows what will happen. But if you're doing and you're 2 down, you got to find a way to reset and take things back. So could go anyway, but Tilines seems to have a lot of momentum in their favor.
Yeah, no, what doing? Their backs are definitely against the wall right now. They had a good first game, to say the least, but ever since then, they've been just kind of slowly getting whittled away by Tilines game after game. And now in game number 4, in match point for Tilines, no, you're getting threatened, not necessarily getting threatened to be sent home because you still have the 3rd place match to play after this one, right? But no one wants to play 3rd place match. Everyone wants to make it to grand finals here, no matter who you are. So everything's on the line here for what doing to try and make another attempt to try and stay alive for just one more game to try and take this away from Tilines here. But Clamp to Umami Ruins, it's fascinating. I like Umami Ruins personally.
Odd. It's a little bit of an odd one in the center, if I'm being honest. It could be splat zones where you're playing an never-ending ring around the rosy with the zones, but I think Clamblitz is fine. It's great. I'm hoping to see. I wonder if anyone's going to bring a vacuum out. That's what I'm really curious about. This one is not that bad to bring a vac out. I know a kind of warm opinion, kind of warm there, but especially if you have a charger player on lock. But as I say that, anchors are not, well, except that Rapid, are not really making an appearance during this game.
No, yeah, as close as to an anchorless comp as you can get here. Neither team wants to bring any sort of traditional backline here. Like you mentioned, the Rapid being the only thing that's close to a backline, but even then I'd argue that's more of a midline than a backline here, as just all hell breaks loose here in mid, and we see all kinds of skirmishes happening from either side. No one's still coming out on top. It's just constant back and forth trades. Luis does have the tactical online though, so Tilines could actually see a push gearing towards their favor here as they get going, especially with Tri-Strikes online now. Things are looking kind of good for Tilines if they play the cards right.
Yeah, very much so here. And, but despite all those specials making their way onto the field, I think we actually might see some waves happening. A Kraken pushing everyone into a little corner. This is dangerous for them. This is dangerous for what doing. Oh, they didn't successfully pincer that. I was expecting a pincer. Yeah, it didn't happen, Dominic.
That is unfortunate for the Kraken here. And, I mean, as Clamblitz old-fashioned here, we just see constant back and forth picks, constant back and forth trading. No one's making much of a push for anything because as soon as one person gets a little bit of momentum, the other enemy team and just punches back with the same amount of force and keeps them in place, What doing was in a position to potentially able to just make a breakaway and get that power climb into the climb basket, but they were stopped by Tilines in the nick of time before that can happen. And now they're just posturing to try and make that happen again, but A-Scout just went down once again. They're a big factor of their frontline pushing power here, so now they're forced to back up a bit and try and wait it out to try another opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these specials here. Oh, those ink strikes there. I think that was from Luis here, able to make that much of a difference here and getting the rest of their team into place here. With a Kraken, how many times can I say here? Because here they are. As a matter of fact, no bubble is going to stop. Never mind, a bubble did stop that. 3 down on Tilines, and what doing makes it another day with what?
I guess somehow the Gal got through through the thick of all that and managed to get the power clamp into the climb basket and allow a jump to get another power clamp. A second power clamp has hit the basket, folks, as what doing is now currently in the lead with 60 points remaining with about 3 minutes remaining left on this game.
Yeah, honestly, just what a surprise. We didn't catch it. They knew what they were doing, I guess. And, with more drinks to come here from Axis, they are losing 2 of their players in this moment. I think definitely just wanting to defend that center, but when there are tri-strikes coming your way, it gets a little bit difficult to carry out that mission, but doesn't stop the players from from holding their ground as best as they can. 1 down on each side. Not much action happening. There's a lot of waiting here in this neutral, whether it's specials or just opportunities, and what doing may have just found theirs. 2 down on Tilines. They find themselves under the basket just awaiting that power clam.
Desperately trying to stop that power plant from being formed and being thrown in, but unfortunately not being able to grab them in time, and they do get the power plant the basket opened up once again, but they're not going to be able to actually score any points, and they actually granted Tilines an extra power plant here, and now with the clan basket open once again for a Tilines side, they can absolutely try and just blitz through the lead and try and steal it away from them, but what doing is trying everything they can to try to prevent that from happening, but no, they get through and throw in clam after clam, and suddenly the lead has been widened, and now there's 30 points in favor of Tilines.
We're seeing that Tilines brand right here where they just start throwing hands here at the baby. They're still going. They lost 3 players, but they still wanted to get some points on the board here. And poor Luis Rapid just in the center, finding a way to jump out. I don't know how you lived that in the first place, but that was, that entire push was messier than high school drama. That was something.
That's actually a crazy way to put that. That is crazy here. But I guess we have to run with it because there's only 1 minute remaining until this is just absolutely dominating this second half of this game here. Pick after pick after pick after pick. They're looking to just keep what doing down, not giving them any breathing room whatsoever. Trying to actually trying to just run down the clock instead of trying to get a potential knockout here.
Yeah, and as we're talking about, Tilines did suffer 2 down. What doing really just has to find a way to get themselves in there. They have 1 special active, but Tilines has 2. They have both the tri-strikes, and I forgot it's on that brush there, but they have 2 specials. But with what doing closing in little by little, seeing those strikes and a Booyah Bomb on top of that, it's going to get chaotic. It's going to get messy as what doing is just pulling those last-ditch efforts to just get anything on the board. But with 2 players down, Dark, I don't know.
Yeah, this is not looking good for what doing. You need a last-second Hail Mary like what Ace Cow had pulled earlier, but losing Ignite, losing Z means that you're slowly and slowly just gonna lose this momentum, losing that last-ditch effort there to potentially steal away this game with players going down left and right. What doing doesn't have the manpower to potentially break through, but no, as overtime's called, they get 3 picks. They're running to the clan basket and opening it up, popping the bubbler. They can potentially break a breakaway here if they can get the clams in order, telling it's going one after another, but the picks are coming through from Tilines and they're trying to throw everything they can to stop this push, but is it going to be enough at the end? Ace Cow gets 1 pick, there's still someone from one to again, and they throw it with the basket, and they did throw it in! Oh my god, I've never seen that!
Dark, they had no business taking that long to get the freaking pity clam. They had no business. They
oh my god!
Oh my god!
Are you kidding me? You're telling me you had that in you this entire time? That's crazy, man!
They had that. No, you know what's worse? We have to go to Robin. It's only gonna get
That's
worse.
That's what's worse here.
No. Hear me out. It's because it's neutral. Everyone and their mom knows how to play Robo Ramen zones. So this is like the place to show down outside of Mako and Hag. That's crazy. Like they're killing me because they genuinely. I'm like, get the pity, guys. You've been here 15. Get the pit. Get the pity.
The timer literally was frames away from running out. Like nothing against what doing whatsoever, right? I always have faith for the last second, but I thought their push was done at the end there, and they see that power climb jump in at the last few frames. I was so taken aback, man.
Dark, it's literally like the shrimply free. It's literally just this. It's just the shrimply free emote. That's literally what that game felt like at the end. Because they're still in it. Game 5 or whatever, I guess. Give us a heart attack while you're at it. But,
yeah, I mean, this is your little last chance. You barely squeezed your way through victory from that last game, and now you're putting Tilines on the lifeline this time around. There's no more second chances for either side. This is it for grand finals, and what doing has to put all the cards on the table if they want to try and squeeze out another victory.
Yeah, very much so. I just really have not really many expectations going. Well, actually, no, I expect this to be crazy. And if y'all decide you want to like take a 0 to 100 knockout, I'm gonna be mad because where's my content? You need to give me content now. You look like you did that last game. you don't have a choice. You need to entertain us. Be the court jester because you did this.
Bro, IPL is gonna look at this set and look at the audio files and see like the big spike at this point and be like, oh, I guess this is what the game ended. But no, there's another game after this, and it's just 100-0 from one end. Like,
I have a headache, man. I have a headache. Do you have any ibuprofen?
no, you live with it. This is your grave that you dug.
Listen, the grave cannot be dug until this game is over. And, you know, once again, we're gonna get some food, and we may just be fed if they fix their internet. Ramen zones. Don't worry about it.
Sure. You know what? Sure, I'm not gonna worry about it here. As for what these teams are bringing here for this 5th and final game of this set, nothing out of the ordinary. These are weapons we've seen throughout the entirety of this set so far. So we kind of expect how they're gonna be played, how they're gonna be used, and what the game plans are for each team here. Tilines definitely looking to try and get the opening advantage here, using their spells to push what doing back as best they can, and do get a few picks here. And the troubling thing with Robo Ramen is that once you get pushed back to your side of the map, it's very easy to get locked out in.
Yeah, very much so. Again, there's not a lot of space there, you know, to yourself right here, and the enemies can push incredibly forward. As we see Luis with this bucket doing here, taking nades while they're added to access. No more. They prefer retreating to the rest of their teammates, but banggg here to pick up the action, not really wasting any time. What an opening here from Tilines. They continue to take nades. I mean, look at that. Oh, man. Are they going to do this to us? Are they going to do this to us, Darn?
Is Tilines doing the locked-in meme and just, like, sitting up straight, leaning forward after that last game, just saying, no, we don't want any of that anymore. At the very least, what doing did use their specials to at least contest the zone and give a decent amount of penalty points to Tilines. It's buying them some more time to try and find a proper break through the wall that Tilines has right now, but it's still not a good situation right now. They're still clumped up on their side of the map.
Yeah, very much so, but Tilines has not let go of that advantage that they have worked ever so hard for since the beginning of the match here. But what doing, coming in with a little bit more strength here, having that tactical at the ready, and with enough paint, enough manpower, they may just see some progress. But no, there's some strikes to counteract that. But everyone in just silly positions. There's so many specials, so many. I mean, look, you have a Booyah Bomb within a Booyah Bomb. Where else are you gonna get that?
Yeah, no, the double Booyah Bomb goes to in favor of whoever threw it last, and what doing last was the one that came out last on top there. But telling this though, they're not wanting to let this go just yet. They're still fighting tooth and nail to maintain the agenda, maintain their lead here, and just maintain every bit of an advantage that they can. A-Scout unfortunately goes down to a 1-for-1 trade at the end there, as Tilines keeps getting these picks after picks after pick. Ripping though has Aura's flow right now, so they can absolutely use that to their leverage, move around at a rapid speed to get pick after pick after pick and keep momentum going in their favor.
Yeah, very much so, but what doing was in control of the zone. They are poking slight holes into Tilines' defenses, but not quite really seeing anything significant enough to get major points on the board. banggg, of course, with that Kraken, taking a pick while they're at it too. They no longer have a bucket, but they also don't have a gal on the side of what doing, which again opens a lot of space when you do not have a wall in your face. But oh, yeah, you lose a Booyah Bomb. That was such a crucial Booyah Bomb too for what doing. Losing that S-Class it's just rough.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to recover from that. What doing needs to throw everything they can right now. They do flip the zone once again, buying them just a little bit of extra time. But with each flip, though, they lose. They lose less and less points that they give to. They lose less and less penalty points that they give to Tilines as the time goes on. And now they're at this point where they need to get a wipeout. Like I was just about to say there, in order to actually get things back under the control here. So now, what doing for the first time in this game, and the driver's seat are looking to try and lock Tilines out, but the Kraken comes out to break this wall here, and they can absolutely just tear down in a matter of seconds the fashion of defense that what doing set up.
Yeah, and just as I was nervous about banggg being completely by themselves and separated from their team because of that Booyah Bomb, they're able to get two. They said, no, don't worry, I got this. I got this, they said. But again, Tilines wasn't quite able to break free from the advantage, there we go, that what doing had made for themselves in the center. So Tilines find themselves at their base, and what doing is exactly where they want to be. Almost no penalty points here left, and potential to take the lead if they play their cards right.
Oh, 2 down from Tilines. What doing that has the player advantage here, but the Splatoon can potentially find the ones that it thinks they need to maintain control, but no, it's not enough. 50 seconds is caught here. We see the Booyah Bomb and the Kraken come out from either side. What Tilines looking to try and properly push What doing out, picking up yet another player, but the A-Scout is in the front lines, keeping Tilines in place, and What doing could potentially run away with this game after what was a dominant game from first half from Tilines. This could be it, folks.
Oh my goodness, Tilines is in deep waters. Whether they're going to be able to resurface in a second. They have 20 seconds left on this match. They're losing that lead for sure, but if they're going to be able to retake the zone and keep it until the end of the game is a bigger question. 16 seconds, the Booyah Bomb makes its way there, able to neutralize the zone. They are able to keep it 2 down on What doing. A bubble left here at that angle, that little elbow to just keep any space that they already had. The zone flaps yellow. That's game. That might be game.
That's game. What was an amazing hold from Tilines for the majority of that game, keeping What doing now in the final moments, in the final seconds of the game, of the set. They falter under the pressure, and What doing steals it back to back and moves on to grand finals.
Dark, that was a second. A second.
No, I was watching that.
Is what made and break. It made or broke that match. And What doing is, it's called Swimmer Sing for a reason. And the only one that swam to the top right now is What doing. And, they have punched their ticket into grand finals. Oh my God.
Oh, that is definitely one of the best sets I've seen in a while, folks. Because What doing at the bottom, with their backs against the wall against Tilines, who seemed really dominant from the second and third games. The script has absolutely got flipped at the end of each game, and What doing fought tooth and nail and climbed to the top and secured these last 2 games, sending Tilines over to the third place match as they rush on forward to grand finals.
Oh my goodness. Dark, I need to go sit down. I need to lay down after this. And luckily, I think we're going to have an opportunity to do so before grand final starts. So if y'all get your water, use the bathroom, get some munchies, we'll be right back. And hello, everybody. Welcome back to Swim or Sink 215. I am Fafu, joined by the one and only Dark. Say hello.
Yes, hello. Back after that crazy last set we just witnessed here, as now Grand Finals, as you mentioned here. What doing from the clutches of defeat from the last set, heading up against NRG.
Oh my goodness, and speaking of NRG, they got some pretty powerful players, I would have to say, if you ask me, but I think there is a tall order to be fulfilled coming after last game. You know, you bring a match to game 5, you know, you gotta step the game up.
Yeah, no, this is definitely... Everything has to be on the line. If it wasn't already from the last set, then everything definitely has to be on the line here. Because, folks, it's Grand Finals. You're going up against, from what, according to Sendo, after that last set, for what doing, you're going up against the #1 seed. And I mean, NRG. I don't follow. I lose track of teams and players all the time, so I forget who's on where. But I recognize a lot of these player names, so that. It's gotta mean something at the very least. And man, to kick things off for this first set as well, Splat Zone's Umami Ruins. I think this will definitely be a very fun match to watch.
We're back in the building. We're literally just back in the building. If it isn't the very map that got us yelling in the first place,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be quite a round to start on. Again, it can be very attacker focused, just because of how finicky defense really is on this map. You know, enemy players can just waltz up into your base, no biggie.
Yeah, no, the Umami Ruins is always in a weird spot for a lot of people. Some people, it's very like hit or miss for so many folks. I love it, and we don't really have too much time to delve too much into that, right? But a lot of it does come down to the layout and whether you like the layout or you don't like the layout, especially here on zones as well. With it being a split zone on top of it, you know, you got to be very mindful as to what's going on across the entire map, because it's so easy to miss one player or another, and then all of a sudden you got to go play Ring Around Rosie around mid to keep flipping the other zone over and over again.
And we may just see some of that here following this match, but already What Doing is going to be the first team to lose a player. No Gal, no Pro in sight anymore. NRG is going to be taking that zone very swiftly. Damn is looking to clean up this blaster, though. we played a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie there, but already a strong opening here from NRG, able to get those first opening points, only 30 seconds to the game, but very strong lead here.
Yeah, a good position to put yourself in here in the first on this first game on Umami Zones here. What Doing struggling a little bit against this hold that NRG has set up here, but they're pushing them back bit by bit. Booyah Bomb as well to disrupt the back line here, as they can potentially try and find a way to push through and break through this front line wall here, but it's not enough. NRG is holding it strong and just dismantling What Doing bit by bit, piece by piece, and now there's only 30 ticks remaining on the zone.
Yeah, and this looks very dangerous for What Doing, who fought their way into the spot in the first place, but just may get knocked out in this first round back. Again, it's only been a little over a minute, and with 10 ticks left and not much contesting happening, I think that is going to wrap up the first game with the knockout.
Yeah, it was NRG just knew exactly how to play that out, exactly what fights to take, and exactly when to use their specials to flip every single fight, every single interaction into their favor. And for 100-0 on this map as well, I mean, yeah, Umami Ruins can be a bit of a lockout mess, you know, it's very hard to try and break through at times, right? But you still have a lot of interactions in mid here to try and constantly flip the zones over and over again and prevent your enemy team from running away with a lot of points. So the fact that NRG was able to position themselves to just deny What Doing that possibility, it just kind of goes to show exactly what Doing's going up against here.
Yeah, very much so. It's quite a team to be fighting, and you know, with players like those, it's almost like they rehearse all of the commonly played maps. So it has that very rehearsed feel once you get into the match, and you'll notice it once we get back in there. Or if you already noticed it last game, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that's going to be even more the case as we approach Hagglefish Market Tower Control. As we all know, Tower Control can get incredibly snowbally. You can't deny it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Tower Control Hagglefish Market, people should know exactly what to expect here. That those 2 checkpoints on the ramp leading to your enemy side of this map, you know, can just absolutely spiral so far out of control. You're just forced to just sit and watch here. But there is still some counterplay to try and prevent your team from getting to that point. You know, you still have that first checkpoint to try and break through to stall them out. And I think that's where a lot of the focus and attention is going to be at for both of these 2 teams, to make sure that first checkpoint stays there for as long as they can. Because once that checkpoint goes down, that's when you get that small snowball begin to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Of course, it gets even worse the second you get into that second checkpoint. Oh God, it's always a dreaded second checkpoint. Honestly, I feel like this is going to end snowball one way or another. Especially in grand finals, you don't really see those stalls in middle as much as others. So I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. It could be anything. Energy does look to have a big advantage just from what we saw last game. So that's probably where I'm going to place my bets.
Yeah. I mean, there really wasn't much that I could have noted from that last game, from what Doin was specifically doing wrong, that Energy was abusing, that I couldn't tell you because the match was so quick. But that's no one's fault, you know. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just walk it off and be like, all right, first one's gone, whatever, move on to the second one and make it better, you know? And Tower Hagglefish is still a bit of a weird one to try and make that work, you know? It's not necessarily easy to get a lot of these pushes or stop a lot of these pushes, you know? But it could be the thing that what Doin can try and abuse in their favor.
Yeah, very much so. And it's really hard to tell. It's just really hard to tell what's going to... I have a guess of what's going to happen, but
yeah,
I want to see. I want to see how this plays out first. So I'm just waiting for these guys to get ready. They've kept us waiting here. Give us the action! Oh, you want to give us the action so bad?
Yeah, I mean, there's voices in our head.
Voices in our head.
They are currently subbing, so we'll get there here in just a few more moments. But yeah, no, I mean, what more can we say at this point?
Yeah, you know, the weather, I guess. We could talk about the weather.
Yeah, that's where we want to go?
Oh, no, there's currently a storm. I probably shouldn't. Never mind.
No, go on.
Listen, we don't get snow here, so, like, I don't know.
What, is it snowing over there?
No.
Oh.
We got nothing.
Yeah, so, like, what's the big idea then?
I don't know, you want to talk about your weather?
My weather? I mean, it was raining today. That's about it.
Oh, lucky. I want rain.
Yeah.
Man. We don't get fed enough. But anyways, it looks like our guys have finally gotten ready. We're gonna eat a little bit here, dog. We're finally gonna get to eat again.
Yeah. No, I don't expect what Doin to change too much on their side. Well, as I say that, they do bring out the NZEP 89, which I don't think was played at all from their previous sets here. So I'm wondering what the game plan here specifically is with that weapon here. But, you know, Energy pulling out something that's a little bit more traditional, something a bit more in line for what you see in the current top level.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is that they also have a junior on Energy. I don't know if that was their last game or not. The last game happened so fast, I didn't even get the chance to check. But already insane fights happening as you start. But Energy is actually going to be losing 3 of their players. And what Doing quickly flipping the script compared to what happened last game, finding themselves on the tower, quickly approaching this first checkpoint that, if I'm being honest, just kind of doesn't exist. This checkpoint is non-existent to me.
Yeah, this first checkpoint really is... It's still vital for them to try to hold it because that means that they can get to the second checkpoint much faster in subsequent pushes, you know? But it's still early enough in the path that it's kind of easy and to let it go if you aren't playing your cards right. And I mean, what Doing is a very extraordinary job right now, keeping Energy just away from the tower, away from being able to contest that at any point in time right now. And even though they do lose one, they are at the second checkpoint right now. And Cappuccino looking to try and play whatever cards they can to try and stop it, and from nowhere, out of nowhere, they come up behind the players from the tower and stop it before that second checkpoint was lost.
Yeah, it's crazy what one good flank does to a push. It can literally end everything, and I think Cappuccino is literally the prime example of that. But seeing those specials online for energy, both that bubble and Booyah Bomb ready for action in just a second. If you're wondering what those chumps are for, by the way, you're seeing them. They're literally there to be a nuisance and just cause mayhem in those flat open spaces.
Yeah? Hey,
Yeah? Don't worry about it. It was yummy. I was feasting. Do not ask questions.
I mean, I'm not asking questions. I'm not asking anything. I'm just more looking at the gameplay in front of us. Yeah, you can eat. I never said you can't.
Thank you.
Hey, Jingles Keys, come on. We got something in front of us.
Anyways, Gavin on the left side, Kawaii. I could not katakana, hiragana just a little bit. Their name is Kawaii, but here on the left, look at that pincer, essentially creating a pincer. Kawaii's in the back, taking names, no pens on the field, but Yams is going to be taken out by the Booyah Bomb, just those last straggling health points left, and Energy is very much looking forward to knocking this game out in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, what Doin was doing the majority of this game was really good, but unfortunately for them, Energy just needed one single push, one single breakthrough from the wall that what Doin held up, and now they get a wipeout and just with a single push, knock it out. Energy was just waiting for the right time, waiting for the right opportunity to just dismantle what Doin once again and just take away the second game.
Yeah, it was so interesting because what Doing got pretty dang close, if you ask me. They did a really good job at just getting that push when they have the opportunity. But again, one flank is all it takes to just shatter dreams. And Cappuccino has been doing a phenomenal job in that junior. You know, they got that double splat as well, just right off the tower. So they've been doing a great job with those bomb placements. And anyone that plays junior knows the main is your sub. The sub is the main. Is what I'm learning.
Yeah, no, playing V Junior, you most likely are just only taking it for the bubble and for the bomb spam. You hardly ever want to use the actual weapon, but Cappuccino does pilot the Junior well enough that they are able to do some of the things that you saw earlier, just go on the flank, get the picks that they need in order to flip the script on a lot of these plays, a lot of these pushes here. And now, moving to game number 3, very quickly now, Clam Blitz, Barnacle, and Deen.
Oh my goodness. We're going to go shopping is what we're going to be doing on this map. Those chumps seem to be making their way out onto the field again, which is curious, but I think they may have found just a little bit of success or just see it having enough use to bring it out once more. And something to note, it's not splat zones, we're in Clam Blitz.
Yeah, that's what I said, in Clam Blitz. Did I say zones?
Did you? No, you didn't. I'm just like, just in case.
Oh.
Missed it.
I got scared for a second. I was like,
You're fine, Dark. You're fine.
No. Anyways, moving on here, we do see a typical with Eddie's Clams map, where it's just a big skirmish in mid, just players getting pick after pick after pick, but nothing really converting off of it here. But one thing to note here is that what Doing is in the backseat right now, backs against the wall, match point for Energy means that they can absolutely just take a 3-0 sweep here if they play their cards right. So what Doing has to play with their lives on the line and try and stay alive game after game and potentially see if they can get an opportunity to reverse sweep this set.
I'm sorry, they got bonked in the head by the dang S-Blast, so that had to be called out for a second. But what Doing actually getting the first potential push of the game, not really seeing any clams. Give some clams to your buddy. Get the clamp, guys.
Oh,
get the clamps,
guys. Oh no, what Doing mismatched with their tempo, not having the clams ready right now. What Doing could have absolutely ran away with a lot of points there if they had the power climb ready before that push, but unfortunately, I think the only thing they can get here is the power climb and 2 extra clams, make that 3-4. Okay, so they're now starting to extend it a little bit here. 56 off their first push isn't that bad for Barnacle and Deen here. So, and what Doing may have misplayed a little bit at the beginning of their push there, but they did manage to at least secure some camp on their side.
Yeah, a little bit of points is better than none. Aura is happening once more. Again, Quiet's been throwing hands for like no reason. I know that Gal technically got a nasty buff, but like this is ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. This gun should not be able to do that, and yet it is. And as I say, that energy in just one swift push is able to take the lead back in their favor. And that was almost 20 extra points. That is 20 extra points on the board with the sneaky power clam to call for that as well.
Oh, and I mean, Gauss here is just absolutely running away, finally getting shut down by the S-Blast here, as what doings just constantly forced back. Energy getting these constant back-to-back drag picks here to get things under their control here. But now Yams has Aura Flow online for them, seeing if they can leverage that to any sort of momentum in their favor. They get one pick, now looking trying to hold forward here to continue this flow on their side to clear up the map and make some more space for what doing as the remainder of their team are slowly walking up behind them.
Yeah, very much so. And you know, one can't help but root a little bit here for what doing, as they are struggling a little bit in mid, slowly making their way forward, able to make just that enough space that may just get them another push on the board. Beautiful 3 down on energy. Just get the clams. The clam. They can get the push, but they just don't have the clams. Fellas.
I saw them bundle the clams so many times. What doing for the second time this game fumbled what could have been a very extraordinary push. I mean, they cleaned it up at the end, don't get me wrong, so they're still completely fine right now, but this could have been a lot more cleaner. The gap could have been widened by a lot bigger of a margin here, but what doing has to settle for, okay, maybe a potential knockout scenario as we get, okay, never mind, they know what they're doing, because what doing is the name of the game.
You know, we clown them for fumbling the clams, but they won the game. I'm gonna give you that. You won the damn game. Like, the next time we get our clams in the place we need to when we need them. But other than that, good job in the face of going 2 down in games prior to this. So good job, what doing? I don't know what you were doing with the clams, but at least you won.
Yeah, I mean, sticking true with their namesake, they confuse even the commentators at what they're doing. But hey, this is par for the course for what we've seen from this last set, at the very least for what doing. Going 2 down and managed to clutch it up in an insane first game after the first two down, you know. We could potentially see a reverse sweep here. Tower controls ship cargo company is a bit of a weird map. I'm gonna be honest. It's a very swing heavy, where if you can get past the second checkpoint, you most almost certainly can just be able to ride that to the very end here. So it's gonna be up to what doing here to prevent energy from ever getting to that point. But if they can get to that point first, we can very well see a 2-2 scenario and now head on to Zones Mako Mart.
Dark, I know you said it already, but there's only one word for this map.
Yeah.
Snowball.
Yeah.
Snowball. It's like that's literally I feel like that's just all it is. And whoever gets it first, it is first come first serve. Whoever wants a knockout, come get it. Come get it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not exactly out of the ordinary for what doing here to get the first push, as we did see from the previous game that what doing was able to get a few early picks on energy to set themselves up for an early push with on Clan Blades Barnacle Dime. So it's not exactly impossible for them for what doing here. As I say, that 2 picks before Rip Yams, and they ends up 89 here, potentially a third pick up there. That's going to be a good opener for them to get this tower going.
Yeah, again, 2 down energy, and just a perfect opportunity for what they're doing is what they're doing here. But again, I love the way they're setting themselves up. They're setting themselves to keep each other in check, but you know, they're still going to find themselves in these one situations. Goss really just wanting to say, you should not be able to get 2 on the same
I was about to say 2.
Look at me mad, dude. It's not even
Both of us would have been so livid if Carlos actually got away with that, but no. Fortunately for what doing, they had the team back up there to clean up that pick against Goss, and now they're looking to try and extend the lead even further here, taking down to 51 points remaining, getting to that second checkpoint, which could be do or die scenario for Energy. But just like that, 3 down for what doing means that Energy can clean this up with a delayed wipeout and finally be the ones to get the first points on their side.
Yep, and something I want to know of importance is that what doing does not have. Oh wait, that's not that. I forgot. There's only 2 checkpoints on this map.
Yeah.
There's only 2 checkpoints on this map.
Yeah.
Listen, they skipped the plot. They skipped what was like forward, and so we just don't need the first checkpoint. And you know what? Y'all are so real for that. But anyways, NRG finally getting some points of their own on the board. You know, it doesn't feel like they're phased. They're like, oh great, okay, we may have had a little bit of screw up starting up, but you know, they're cruising. They're on their way. No biggie.
And one thing to note, folks, is that Energy is still at match point. They can absolutely run away with this game and take this game home and close out this set at any moment here with the right push here. So, and what doing is fighting constantly with their backs against the wall, constantly in a do or die scenario to stay alive, to play one more set, just one more game to stay alive for one more time to try and potentially reverse sweep this here. But what doing is actually keeping up with Energy here, not letting them close the gap just yet here, still keeping them at 54 points remaining on the tower path here, but that could change soon here a bit as Energy is starting to get ready for their own push.
Yeah, very much so, and I think it's not going to take long before that second checkpoint. Oh, no, I thought it wasn't going to be long. There's actually, with no Junior, no Blaster, no Gao, no nothing on NRG. What do you see? Another day, their lead. So, yeah? What'd you see?
I thought the chumps got eaten there because it was right in front of the tower path.
Luckily, no chumps were eaten. Like, no chumps were harmed in the making of this set. That's a lie. But what doing? Finally, see, I love how they're able to like just stick the ground. You know, they lost 2 games earlier, but they seem so stable compared to like how other teams may be reacting to this. And I have so much respect for that. I mean, look at them go.
I mean, maybe this is exactly the position they want to be. Maybe they do better under pressure, under these stressful scenarios here. Because what doing is definitely what doing is definitely a lot more different than what doing we saw in the first 2 games here. Because now they're contesting the second checkpoint. Energy is a bit off tempo here as they're struggling to keep up with the constant power of that constant aggression from what doing here. And even though they do get 2 picks here and push what doing back, they're still alive here. And Z with the decapitator gets those 2 picks and keeps those momentum going. They're still alive here.
What doing? Y'all gotta lock in, and they are locking in. As a matter of fact, if they can clear the second checkpoint, they're in for such a good time. It's not even funny, but I feel like they got a little bit too fixated on it and abandoned it a little bit preemptively. If you ask me, and it definitely led to consequence. They weren't able to clear that second checkpoint, only getting around a quarter of the way done before Energy was able to take it back.
Now, with 1 minute remaining, Energy has just only less than a minute now to try and close the gap, to try and contest the lead at the second checkpoint here. And it's not exactly impossible for them. One good pick, one good double splat on their favor could absolutely swing things in their favor here as the S-Blast under the ramp gets a pick, goes down for a 1-for-1 trade. Now, Energy looking to try and threaten this lead here on the second checkpoint, popping the bubbler as well to try and secure it as well. They're going to be able to take away this lead here as what doing struggling and scrambling to take away the tower from them, and now 3 down from Energy. It's gonna be a scramble and a mad dash through that lead there with only 20 seconds remaining.
The only person that should be diving like that was Z, and Z saw it through, but the other 2 that did, we gotta lock in, because you dive at a tower and just become desperate like that, especially in those crucial moments, it could very well end your game, and it was very close to doing so. But we will be going into overtime. Excuse the scolding, I don't mean to do that, but this is gonna get tight.
Goss! Okay.
Goss down!
Goss is down, but the push is still alive yet. They all jump out of the tower! What are you doing? No, what? No. Can they get it? But then they wipe out their very end. Why did they jump off the tower?
What did we just say? To not get desperate. What did we just say?
Energy at the end, when their backs were against the wall, manages to narrowly avoid a 2-2 scenario and closes the game, taking advantage of a mistake from what doing, taking the set 3-0, making your champions from SOS 215.
What a set. There's not a dull moment during these last 2 sets, Stark, and oh my goodness, Energy is your SOS 215 champion, as Stark just that sounds. Let me rewind. Yeah. Energy is, in fact, your champions, as Stark told us. That didn't sound better either. Good job. Good job.
one from you guys. I definitely was hoping that we saw the reverse sweep, at least taking their game 5 here at the very end. But I gotta be honest, I don't know why all three of y'all jumped off at the tower at those last crucial moments here. But Energy does manage to secure the game here and secure the set and make them your champion for SOS 215. And of course, to look over on the third place side here, Super fighting Me Team Supreme, their long name, versus Tilines. Tilines does win 3-0 against them. So Tilines is your third place victor here tonight, with What Doing being your second place, meaning Energy, of course, is your first place victor.
What? Just very good sets today, Dark. The energy was everything tonight. So I honestly just happy to be here always with you two. So very good games, very good tournament. As always, Dark, where can the people find you tonight?
For me, you can find me at SPF Dark on most social media websites. I commentate all the time, though, across multiple organizations we have here. But I'm also head TL for Don't Flounder the Function, staff for Anarchy Nova. So those of you who go to LANs, you always most likely see me on that side. But Fufu, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at SplatFufu on Blue Sky. I will be at SoCali this weekend, so if any of you guys are going, do make sure to say hello. I will have a couple stickers there. Oh, come on, relax. And of course, Sunset Surge, April 18th. If you guys are in the Arizona area or nearby, do come say hello. Shut up, Dark.
No. I gotta say something, because Don't Flounder is also April 18th. So if you're on the East Coast, come over to us. No.
No. Beating you during the LCS.
Oh yeah, is that what you want to say now?
I have zero doubts.
I have zero doubts that will beat you. It's the East Coast supremacy. You know how many lands we have on this side?
Delusional.
Okay, whatever. Wrap it up.
AC World. Oh, and special shout outs to Ancient Wings for being our viewer today. We love you, Wings.
We're sitting through all of our mess now this entire night.
Anyways, AC on top. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Oh wow, that's crazy.